Freedom 35, 5, 5, 5.
Dude, start the podcast.
Wow.
You recording, Gordon?
Gordon is recording.
Let's go, man. Welcome on Freedom 35ers Cardano NFT podcast. We're on episode 27, technically episode 28 for the OGs. My name is Tommy. I go by TOMMY.
My name is TJ. I'll go by Lazy T.
And I am the other Tom. I go by Lavish Bear.
And tonight we're joined by a very special guest, one of the OGs, I'd say, inside the space, and somebody who I personally got started, or one of the reasons I got started into Cardano itself, JackFriks. Jack, welcome on.
Thanks for having me, man. Excited to be here, and I'm excited to talk about big things today, lots of things.
Oh my God, we got so much to talk about, dude. It's an honor to have you on. Like I said, I got into Cardano last summer, man. And, your videos were some of the ones that I got into it, and you got me excited, not going to lie. So it's cool and fun to have you onto the show right now. It's kind of surreal how fast stuff moves in this space. So we appreciate you being here tonight and talking CNFTs with us.
Yeah,
Back then,
first NFT.
Only ones on probably too, Tommy. When you were looking back that summer, that probably wasn't much else on YouTube as far as Cardano NFTs went.
There were a couple of them. I was watching like Dan with Crypto Capital Venture at that time. But Jack had started to start making his way in there. And then I just found myself drawn to your videos back in that time frame, because it was simple to the point and you weren't over promising anything. It was just kind of a real take on stuff. So I appreciated, the way that you covered stuff. And then eventually it led me, as I discovered CNFTs, I saw your journey started to get into them as well. And then it just kind of took off from there. But yeah, dude, we're excited to get you on. And then for anybody who's listening, if you haven't for some reason heard of Jack or Friks and multiple other projects that he's involved with, Jack, can you kind of introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about what you do and how you got into Cardano and CNFTs.
Yeah, so pretty much almost a year ago now, we were talking about this earlier. Back in May last year, 2021, I made my YouTube channel. I bought Cardano probably a month or two before. That was I've only been in crypto for just over a year now. And then I made my Cardano YouTube channel, basically just talking about Cardano, and I kind of learned as I went. And as Tommy mentioned, I got into NFTs probably just before you guys, just when you guys started watching my videos.
Yeah.
I've just been making YouTube videos now for, almost a year. I think a couple hundred videos usually every day. And it's kind of led to where I am now. I made my own project back in September of 2021, JackFriks. I'm still working on that, still lots of developing things, and just really making YouTube videos every day. And being on Twitter most of my time, honestly, it's a little bit of an addiction, but yeah.
Oh my God. So I know YouTube is the big thing, and we're learning now as we're just getting going, because we started off as a podcast and it was supposed to originally be audio. We kind of found an appreciation for more of a show aspect, I guess, as we started to kind of turn into, man. Dude, YouTube's a hard job, man. I don't know. How were your experiences in the early days doing that?
Well, to be honest, I did have a YouTube channel before the Cardano one. I had 200 videos on that one. I was doing the same kind of thing every day, but it was on a different topic. It was just less specific, more just making money online. But it wasn't it's more entertaining to do something that you're passionate about, like Cardano specifically, getting down into something than what you're just looking at every day normally. You just get to make a video on it, and it works out pretty well, I think.
Absolutely. Well, I wanted to kind of bring it up here as we do on the channel, just to kind of showcase it off, man. You've been crushing the game. I forget how many. I want to say it was 3,000 or 4,000 subs when I had originally seen you back here. So pushing over almost 23, man. Congrats on the success. It's been awesome to kind of see your journey as you've been growing. And I know, like you said, you've taken off with your Friks project. You have the Jack stake pool as well. And I think you got some other stuff in the works as well, right?
Yep, for sure.
Which is dope, man. So kind of to introduce you a little bit of things for Jack. Obviously you might have seen him online with the classic. Is this part of the Friks collection? Your profile picture here?
Yeah, it's part of a sub collection, the Frick Click. It's if you own 10 Friks, anyone can get drawn into it, and they just basically drop me a reference image, and I drop it for them, and I mint it for them.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the first one I did. It was my own. So yeah.
That's fun, man. And then I know the big thing with you, you're always like play is that I'm in the basement. I'm in mom's basement over here, just talking about NFTs and Cardano.
Yeah.
Is that still true? Are you still in the basement?
Yeah, right now you can't see it because we got this here, but I am
We're in
in my
space,
mom's
yeah.
basement.
We're gonna get a basement tour one day on a video.
Maybe when I leave the basement, but I think I'll still have to have a green screen behind me when I'm wherever I move to.
There you go.
It's wild to see, man. I love your persona online though too. As everybody's kind of grown, it's just like real. It's honest. It's simple, but at the same time, man, you know your stuff. It's and that's one thing that I do really appreciate you for. It's fun to see somebody who actually likes and enjoys the space and knows a lot about it and is here to help improve it. So it's been nice to see that. But I wanted to kind of introduce you to over to the project. If anybody wasn't familiar, I know this was maybe back in, like you said, September of 2021 back then.
Yeah, that's when it started. Same day as Clay Nation, actually. It was interesting.
That's wild.
What a crazy day. Was that planned or was that just like, I have no idea. I'm just mentioning.
I didn't even know. Did not even know.
That's a crazy day to come out and go with. Imagine the comments. Stuff was so different back then, though.
It was
it was like everything was mooning. It felt like at that time, like it just, if you release something, it seemed like it was going to be, somewhat successful in that era.
Mm-hmm.
No, and everybody was so naive
within the hour.
Yeah, everybody was so naive back then. I feel like we had no idea what was about to come, and it was just like the feel good time. I feel like back in that time, and we didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah,
minting on my Roy. Putting it up on CNFT.io, waiting to see if someone's actually going to send the ADA after they sent the offer.
Absolutely, dude. Yeah, we've come such a long way. But yeah, can you explain a little bit of it for anybody? I know you're kind of evolving this project, but what was the inspiration for you to start a project? Was it just kind of, hey, I want to get myself involved in the space and kind of try it out, or what led you to get to that point?
Yeah, so back, I think it was in like July or August, I was really just I was getting into NFTs. Everything was really new. And I just wanted to make something. I didn't know what it was. I just wanted to make something that I could say, hey, like, I made this. It's a collection. Like, people could use it as a PSP and stuff. So obviously at the time, I didn't have like a bunch of money to pay artists or anything like that. So I drew them all myself. And that's why they're Stik. That's why they are Stik figures. That's why they're not super complex or overly, maybe not the most artistic. But that's what led to me just creating something. I met some random guy on Twitter. He partnered up with him as a developer, and we were on our way. Really, he helped me with a lot of the back end and the website and stuff.
Dude, it looked. I did not realize that you guys actually drew that, or you drew that yourself out there. And then because at that time it was just like, okay, well maybe people are putting hooking up with artists or whatever it was back then. And as of course my 900 tabs over here are loading, maybe the website won't load. But it was it was just different out there. We just assumed everybody was out to, just either create art or partner with somebody, get into the space and see where it kind of takes them. So I didn't realize that, this was actually you. That's really cool to know, actually. Good little backstory.
I think it's up now, Tommy.
Is it? Okay. Yeah. Look at you. You're eagle eye over there, man. This is one thing that I really loved about it when I first saw it come out was that, we were in school. We were
those OG S's, man, all over my paper.
Yeah. I love those too.
Dude, it's so cool. And just the the theme of it, man, it was different at the time. It was just something different. It was fun. It was fun. It wasn't taking itself super serious or anything like that. It was just something fun to get into the space and go from there. And of course, like, we figured, you were big into Cardano at least, and, it wasn't something that you were just going to throw out there and just kind of dump and then walk away from. So what I wanted to kind of showcase now and kind of lead us into kind of our first topic is, we've seen a lot of stick figure stuff coming inside the Cardano space. Can you kind of explain a little bit of this first image here? You kind of give us a little teaser over here.
Yeah, so there is a collection over on Ethereum called the Mfers. Like, I don't know how to say it.
Dbag Mfers, I think
That's a Cardano one, but the original one is on Ethereum by Satoshi. And it's kind of recently came up under Cardano with the Dbag ones and bringing kind of public domain talk into Cardano. And a lot of people, I don't know what their opinions are on it, but I really like it, just seeing people create things based on other things, like true derivatives. These things aren't like just ripped off. Like, I guess they're copied in a sense, but it's from something that's public domain. So like, it's more like no rights reserved. And that's where I see a lot of things growing from on Cardano. I know a lot of people don't like it, but even StikFriks, what I'm doing over there with that teaser was basically saying like, hey, I said this in my video earlier today. If you have one of the OGs, you're going to be able to claim for free the one of one version as this kind of Murpher version.
I'm gonna
okay.
Murpher. I don't know. I've never heard Murpher yet. I'm gonna go.
I don't know.
The only reason we get this is because we did an interview with the Old Money crew over there, and they're the MFers. So that's the only reason I got that pronunciation. But so the Dbag Mfers. So if you're holding the Stik Frick, you're going to be able to trade that in for this new collection that you're working on.
But we're not even trading in. You're just gonna be able to claim it for free. For the ones you hold, there'd be like a claim period. I'll have more information about it soon. But yeah, that's what I'm working on now. Really, trying to just get people also aware of the public domain side of things, because I do think it has a big place in NFTs, especially going forward. As like, I don't know how much you guys know about public domain or interested in it, but I just see it as kind of an end game for NFTs, having like. Anyone can go ahead and grab the original ETH collection for the MFers, and they can go ahead and, even like Pepsi or Coca-Cola could just take them and put them in their brand or something, kind of elevate themselves up. I don't know if it happened with NounsDAO on Ethereum. They kind of had had their little glasses, their public domain too. They had their little glasses in a Super Bowl commercial, kind of because someone in the community pushed for it, right? So like it just allows for a lot more things, a lot more flexibility. From projects and just from like anyone being able to do anything with their IP, really.
That's interesting when it comes to NFTs. The only time we really deal with that, is finding music or something for an intro, and come across copyright things in that kind of way. But otherwise, you don't necessarily see it a lot, normal day-to-day stuff. So seeing it in NFTs, it definitely can get interesting, like you said, how many projects and can go and incorporate that for, just free use.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing too is like, I mean, how perfect, like for you, of course, like the Dbags and then the Stik Friks, like, does that translate the two? So that, I mean, that's an amazing thing. Cause that wasn't a word that I didn't know it, to be honest with you. The CCO, which I guess I'm over here Googling right now, is the Creative Commons 0 over there, which basically just allows you to enable the creator to, to allow NFTs to be owned or whatever it is by others inside of that IP. So you have to actually, like, the whole thing with it is you have to either improve, add, or do something to it, or it just can't be the original artwork.
Well, not really. So it's pretty much no rights reserved, at least as far as I understand. So if someone owns the NFT on Ethereum, one of the, like, say they own the NFT of a very specific one, that exact artwork, anyone can take it and do whatever they want with it, really. Like, the only reason you have for owning it is proof of ownership, and kind of like to say, hey, I own this, like you can flex on it. So which kind of is the point of blockchains, right? Proof of ownership, but also it still allows anyone to do whatever they want, which I like. Some people don't like that. So that's why I see why people come in and they say like, hey, I don't like this derivative or whatever else, but I really do like it. I think it's kind of like people are on the fence about it. Usually they either like it or they don't.
I mean, I'm open for it because it's something different that allows others to express like creativity, like you said, and it just opens a new lane, for new people trying to get in over here. Like you said, if that's something that people enjoy, and it created for me, like the Dbag Mfers, like we have a guy inside of our Discord, his name's TAL.Crypto. He's all over Twitter Spaces out there, and he just sent us a link into our Discord one day with these Dbag, the Dbags over here, and it was like, hey, go mint these. And I'm like, I looked at it, he goes, don't ask why, just go mint them. And I was just like, okay, like I clicked on it, and like, you go to the website, I know they're sold out right now. But I went over to the website, and it literally was just like one thing, mint one, and that's all it was. And this is all the website was, just click mint. And I was just like, okay, like, sounds good. I minted one just for, basically like shits and gigs, just to have fun with it. And then, dude, all of a sudden I just see 900 people online are just boom, 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 Dbag. And then all the profile pics started changing. And then our whole NFT space really started to kind of take over with these profile pics. And it was fun. And that was the one thing that I enjoyed. Whether you like the project or not, it was just kind of fun to be in on it, right? And that's why I liked it. And they're still doing really well right now. And there's no rhyme or reason to it, right? Like, some people are upset, like real artwork doesn't get the attention that it needs, but stuff like this moons. And it's like, it's more than that though. It's not always just necessarily
it's like a movement or a community rallying around it though. I think that's what it is more so. And it's just like you said, it flexes the profile.
I can never tell. Is it for the memes though? Is it like, do people really enjoy it? Is it just?
I wasn't saying it's a meme. I'm just saying it's a community thing.
Like,
it's a community thing.
It's just for the memes. Like, we're all just gonna go buy this because it's like silly, and then now it has like value because people are buying them and making them. I mean, they do make their own then market for certain ones and certain traits because of that. It's just weird sometimes which projects they choose to do that with and which ones are gonna.
It's usually the ones I'm not involved in.
Usually, right?
Wrap around the community.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. It's just for me. It's fun to have fun sometimes too. Like it's like why there's nothing wrong with doing that. And like the people who is this thing going to be around a year from now? I don't know. I can't say yes or no. I would assume it probably wouldn't be what it is, but somebody may evolve it into something new from here. But it's just kind of just the spark of the conversation, because again, that word CCO, I did not know it before this thing existed. So that right there, it just kind of pushed the space and put it out to the forefront for people to be able to maybe explore it in other avenues.
We deal with public domain. Like I said, we choose our songs. I think it's something like any song made before 1924. I'm going to say that's what it is. It's something like that. Is in the public domain. It's just free use. There is no right restriction. You can put it in whatever media you want. It's just like The Entertainer, like that song. Those they're just free use public domain songs. So we do deal with that a little bit, but I've never actually dealt with it as far as like in an art style. Usually, like IP like that is so heavily protected. It is cool to see some projects kind of open that up too. Like this is for everyone.
Yeah. And then Jack has, like I said, it's allowed you to kind of explore it in a different manner now too, where, maybe a few weeks ago, I don't know if this was something that was on your radar and you kind of were already in the works with it, or if it's something that kind of popped up and you're like, yes, I like that. I'm going to take that and run with it kind of thing,
Yeah. I don't even know when. I think it was right before, like I saw the D-Bags minting and I was working on kind of this idea already. And like they're very close together when I started working on it. And when I actually like saw the minting, I was going to go mint them. And then I woke up the one day and they're sold out. And I was like, oh, I didn't think they were going to sell it so quick. But I realized people actually do like just meme, like I think it's really
Mocossi. Look at the Mocossi NFTs. They were just flying off the shelves.
Yeah, and they had no value, nothing about it, but people liked to be in on the joke. They wanted to be a part of it. It allowed to give them a platform. And then at the end of the day, those guys ended up, look what they're doing now. Now, Jack, you're part of one of the stake pools for the spooks, right? Yeah. So it's crazy how things can evolve over time. And like I said, as long as everybody has good intentions with whatever it is that they're doing, and it's helping push the space forward, it may not be in the most conventional manner or the way that you thought it was going to help, but in some way it's doing something to further our space. And I think that's what's important. And that's why I think people attach to that stuff too, because one, you want to be in on the joke. You want to feel like you're a part of it, because again, if it moons, great. If it doesn't, at least you had some fun while you were doing it. And then on top of that, you may get somebody who actually runs with it and creates something new that furthers, where we go from here. So I just had to kind of mention though too, because our guy TAL over here, who we've known over here, this guy actually took the utility of this stuff. He ended up aping into these things, and just don't recommend doing this. This stuff cannot happen all the time. We had actually traded these D-bags for a Spacebudz over here. So look at the value that happened. Can you imagine getting a Spacebudz from kind of degenning into this? That's the ultimate degen move, is to degen into these things and then get a fucking Spacebudz.
How many did he buy overall too? And
he had like 115 or something crazy.
He got something crazy.
Yeah, like insane, right? Like, can you imagine just going hard? Like, that's like some commitment right there, right? So like, just I'm gonna hammer 100.
It's a hell of a barter system he did there,
right? Like, I don't know, man. It's crazy, the world that we live in, and this stuff moves fast. And 2 weeks from now, we cannot be talking about this at all. But I have a feeling that this is going to continue to open up some avenues. And then, Jack, I'm curious to see what you end up doing with it too. But if you're, the Stik, the pixel art, whatever we want to call this, I guess just stick art at this, like it's simple. It's easy. Yeah. If that's not your taste and you're actually looking for, artwork over here, that's beyond that. Sure. Everybody's got their own taste, but overexposed. I mean, we can't not talk about this project. It's been,
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about your project and your NFT that you got anymore.
For you?
Yeah, I thought we banned this topic. I thought there was a vote. Me and TJ voted on it. 2 against 3, 2 against 1.
It's not because of the project per se. It's because Tommy in the project.
Yeah, there's a joke around here, Jack. If you haven't seen us yet, that I get the lucky mints on out of the 3 of us.
It's not a joke. It's
not a joke. It's a fact.
It happens every time.
So
we were literally on a show talking about they were teasing you about how lucky you get, and then 12 hours later you had a legendary. So of course it just happened to be the timing. But overexposed, Jack, I'm sure obviously if you've been in the space, you've seen this as well. But this is some of the high quality artwork from the artist Ren Ellis, who was on Ethereum prior to this. They've got I believe 4 or 5 Jeff over there doing some of he's basically their visionary out there, but they've been pushing for this space. They've been grinding, doing it the right way. They had a nice lottery system. They did the pre-mint yesterday. Public mint's actually going on currently as we speak right now here on 4/27. But man, Jack, what are your initial impressions of Overexposed? Did you get in on the mint?
Yeah, actually, I was lucky enough to get on the public mint.
Nice.
And I mean, the quality is it's pretty high, and I've never seen, I was looking at the aftermarket on JPEG store today.
Yes.
I've never seen that much demand for a project on Cardano ever, in the past year. I don't know what's up with it, but it's pretty crazy.
Well, if you notice too, especially because we've been talking about it in the space over here through, we hit some low months. It seemed great in the beginning of January, everything was doing great, and then we hit that low. We're hovering 900,000 to about 1 million ADA in the CNFT market a day and the 24 volume. And then in the last, maybe I'd say about week and a half, 2 weeks, it's been hovering in between 3 to 4 million. And today it's down back to 2.4. But it was these new projects that were coming into the space were igniting some excitement, it felt like, and some new money was coming in. And I don't know if it was the artwork itself that brought people over here, if it was the hype or what it was, but you can't, there's nothing, I don't have anything bad to say about, what these guys have done or what he's built over here.
I love that.
It looks really, really well done.
The one-on-ones are going to be animated, you said, right?
Yeah, well, we'll get to that here in a second. I just wanted to kind of showcase off just everything. Obviously, it's a one-on-one. It's an NFT, right? That's one thing.
Like the
legendaries,
ultimates.
Yeah, that's one thing I always see people say in the space. It's like, dude, did you get the one-on-one? And you're like, yeah, I got an NFT.
9,000. It was a one-on-one.
But one thing that I have noticed over here, like you said, Jack, is that everybody, when it sold yesterday at first, the demand was insane. People were scooping these things, their floor started around 1,200 ADA. And then obviously it's kind of made its way and corrected a little bit right now. But I don't think I've ever seen a project with that kind of much hype and really that much demand get bought so quick with such a high, it felt like one of the highest floors I've seen or anything like that, just in general. Off a project.
The kickoff. Yeah, usually it kind of you see it gradually get there. It may kick off oh, wow, the floor's already at 450. That was a good start. And then you kind of see as that FOMO and people keep buying in, it kind of rises, maybe up to that 800, 1,200. But to just kind of kick right off the bat, right out of the gate. That was very, not surprising as much though. We were expecting it to do well just because of the attention this has had around it.
Well, I guess, it just felt like one of the most hyped projects. Like I said, the way they even did their Discord drop and stuff like that. I remember they were leaking for a second, people could get into the Discord, and the first 1,000 people were able to get that 35 millimeter roll. And then from there, those 1,000 people were able to mint for 100 ADA that Genesis mechanism token. And that was kind of your whitelist key into this mint over here. And then we saw what those things did before the floor or the snapshot happened. They were at 2,900 ADA or something ridiculously high, way too high. Yeah. And then from there, they even now, I think they still are sitting in the mid 1,400 range, which is absolutely crazy because it's not just a waitlist token. It's the future of the project. You're part of that. But it was cool to kind of see everybody kind of rally. It was just it reminded me a little bit of Clay's when Clay's minted. It was just okay, as they all started to come out, it was every single one of these looks cool. I'd be happy to get any one of these.
No, not that one with the face on it. Those ones
like
freak me out. No, I see them everywhere. They freak me out. They look so crazy.
Dude,
I don't know what's going on with that one.
The Marvel comic stuff. I love that one a lot. I mean, I love them all, but that one really.
The one with like the Spider-Man and all the different traits and stuff on it.
Yeah.
Dude,
I was going to say though, Tommy, the clay thing, it kind of reminded me. Just most recent one was the land sale. Like the project's just Hansel, just so hot right now. And every Discord you're in, everywhere on Twitter, everyone's just talking about like, did you get yours yet? What did you get? Like every single little like group chat we're in on the Discord side with other like creators and stuff. That's all they were talking about.
Yeah.
Which I mean, you'll see that spread out like with other projects. Certain communities will talk about it depending on what it is. But this was like every single one. And that last time at least was that clay sale, and that was the land sale, just because the Snoop Dogg obviously attached to it made all that hype and everything. But
these guys didn't
go crazy for
these guys didn't really have that kind of like they didn't need to market it like that. Like that was the cool thing I thought about them is they let the artwork and just kind of the project itself kind of speak for itself, and it kind of drew everybody in. So that was unique to me. Jack, I'm curious, what'd you end up getting?
I got one with like a hand. I don't even remember.
Oh, little. I got you.
The hand body.
Those were some of the coolest ones I thought that were originally in there. So I don't know. I know the rarities is starting to make its way over right now. As I started to pull up CNFT jungle, you're starting to see new things happen. One thing that I wanted to kind of bring up, because this is why the guys hate me right now. There's 10 animated one-of-ones that are yet to be revealed. And out of those 10 right now, I just happened to be one of those 10 that ended up getting those.
Oh my goodness,
dude!
Yeah.
So
what?
Dude, it was so I didn't know. I was literally, I sent it over to my phone, and my brother, who's not into NFTs really at all, I bought it. He's like, he gave me some ADA a while back and said, invest this for me and just tell me what I need to get. I got him a mechanism token, so we were minting it together. I sent mine in. I get this figure back, and I looked at it, and I'm like, dude, that's not like, it's not really. Everybody's looks so like animated. Why does this one look like it's like did it not like happen yet? And in the metadata, it just says to be revealed. So I'm just sitting there like maybe it's like a placeholder or something like that. And then little do I know, I've posted into the Discord chat, and then Ren himself was just like shot me a little champagne bottle emoji afterwards, and everybody's like,
it was Thomas Shelby from Peaky Blinders lifting a beer to it. That's all he said. Just like, or maybe said like congrats or something, but there was like no explanation or anything to your actual question. Like, what's going on here? Like, I don't know. Yeah, everybody's see my NFT. It was just literally him just lifting a beer.
I didn't know what it meant either, though. I didn't realize there's only 10 of these that are on the animated status. So once I figured that out, I started kind of freaking out because I'm like, oh God, this is like the best thing that I've had. And of course the guys literally the day before were they're yelling at me about how lucky I get on mints. And I'm like, the first thing I thought was like, everybody's going to kill me right now. But what we noticed is there's 10 of these things that are yet to be revealed, which is interesting because you see that a lot on the Ethereum side of stuff, to like the to be revealed, which kind of builds some of the hype. So these are yet. Nobody knows what these are yet. We know they're animated. We don't know what they're going to look like. But one thing that you can kind of pay attention to, which you can see in this image, is a number inside it. I didn't catch this at first. I just thought that was a generic thing. But I have the number 3, and those actually all correspond to the numbers 1 through 10 inside of those reveals. So if you go on CNFT Jungle, which is minting as they mint, the rarities and stuff are coming out, but you can start to see that, the different numbers for each one of these, like on just to pull this up, like again, you have a 7 or anything, but you can notice that all these guys, they have different colors. Are we all the same color? Like that's so terrible to see that. But we all the same color, but there's one right now that got minted today, the number 10 over here. And number 10 is unique in the sense that, obviously it's the colors have changed. So I was like, well, what does that mean? Like, why is there only one of these? Is that the most rarest one? So I hit up Ren inside the Discord today, and I was like, yo, Ren, so we're getting reveals for these things. And originally 4-5 Jeff goes on May 7th, we're going to reveal the first 2. And every week after that, we'll reveal 2 more. So it's going to take 5 weeks to do the 1-of-1 reveals. So I asked him because the number 10 wasn't minted yesterday. Number 10 mints today. And he goes, someone asked him, yo, are we counting down? And he goes, count up. Someone asked him, count up. He goes, it's not starting this weekend, but the reveals 1 and 2 are going to happen. And then it's going to count from numbers 1 up to 10, which sounds like 10 is going to be the rarest one over here. So whoever minted this, congrats to you. I have no idea what this is. And
it wasn't you?
It wasn't me. I didn't get that one.
Make sure.
Yeah, thank God, right? You guys would have murdered me if that was the case. But this is something unique in the sense too that it continues to build the hype even after the project has minted, because it's got something for people to continue to like, okay, well, what's he got next, this week? Jack, do you have any thoughts on like, this mint style? Because I've learned this all today, a lot of this stuff.
I did not know any of that, but that kind of makes me excited, honestly. Like, that makes me want to pay attention more to just like, because it's going to take 5 weeks. I mean, they're clearly taking their time.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's pretty smart. It's like from a point of view of getting attention to it. But I mean, I want to see what any of them look like, to be honest now.
Right. Like, I mean, all the original ones look so good, and like anything inside the space, right? It doesn't necessarily need to be the to be reveals. Like I've seen so many cool ones, and you've seen, I think, go ahead.
Well, those are gonna be the animated ones though, right?
Correct. So I think I didn't know that either when I first heard that there was 10 of them, but these 10 are actually going to be animated ones outside of just the PFPs. And I don't know if you were following them early on. They actually, when their Discord opened up, they did an auction for a 1-of-1 piece that was animated by Ren. Dope. And I think the bid got up to almost 30,000 ADA for that animated piece. So it's, I don't know what to think. I was talking, some people were listing them for like 85,000 ADA plus. I don't know that they'll have a market for that yet. Maybe down the line, who knows? But yeah, it was one of those ones where it's just like, wow, like this is different. And the cool thing about this inside their, the metadata for these is they have this, it's like, what do they call it? The source keys.
Yeah.
And those source keys have different, nobody knows what those mean yet. Then they're releasing, I guess, in a few weeks, what they call their version of the white paper is the black paper. So interesting take on this project.
Do you have your rank already? Like, do you, like, I know you know the number 10, but do any other ones know their actual spots? I saw there's numbers next to some of them. I didn't know if that actually coincided with the rank.
That's CNFT jungle. I know, Jack.
Okay,
have you been using this lately? I know I've been starting to use this a little more, this website, for like as mints like happen like live, because sometimes they're not on CNFT.tools. Do you ever find yourself using this website, Jack?
Yeah, I've been using Jungle for a while now. I don't really use CNFT tools anymore. As much. Just Jungle usually where I go if I'm gonna look. I haven't even been on it lately because I usually just kind of just don't pay too much attention to the rarities of too many things usually.
Yeah,
because I haven't been minting too many projects, to be honest. Overexposed was like the first one I've done in a while. I believe. Yeah. But CNFT Jungle is nice. They have a lot of really good things, and it's all like it all happens as you said, like as it's minting. It's very quick. So
yeah, and it opens up the opportunity for me. I've found myself as become more of a collector over time. I originally was always here to just make money and kind of flip some stuff around. And as I've grown,
say collector, we say hoarder.
Yeah. But you know as well as I do, like you start stacking up these NFTs in your vault. And then all of a sudden, I get attached to them too. And it's sometimes you don't want to part ways. It's if you get involved with the community and it's tough. So I found myself though recently, because of the new volume, jumping to sites like this just to kind of grab some off the secondary to see if I can make, a decent little gain in a short amount of time before people really understand what's going on.
For sure.
So, shout out to Overexposed and the guys over there. I have no idea
what's. I just wanted to say, Tommy, that so you don't know your like mint yet. You don't know the rating. It's going to be exciting to watch that, man. Because let's say you're not the first one, right? If you're the first one, then it's over, then the excitement's done. But as they keep going, and it's like, okay, they've revealed 5. Like, am I number 6 or am I number 9? Like, we're gonna keep watching was it 2 every week?
Every 2 every week is what I heard. But again, if he's doing a count up though, like he just said, then that means I'm in the second batch. I get to see the first 2 reveal, and then I'm in the next one after that. So
you know your rank, you said. I thought you said you didn't know your rank.
No, I'm number 3 right here. The numbers are inside of this.
All right. So you're rank 3. I didn't see that. I thought, okay, cool. All right. I didn't know if you guys knew your rank already. So you will be in the second batch. Hopefully. Did that coincide with the actual order it was minted in?
No.
Were you the third?
No. I actually have no idea. I don't know.
It sounds like it though. You were one of the the 3rd or 4th one, and then this one was the last one, right? And it became number 10.
It could have been. To be honest with you, these guys, maybe they did it that way, and I haven't figured it out yet. But maybe they got a lot of. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. They pull a lot of snakes. So
it has been crazy to kind of see what they've been doing lately. So shout out to Overexposed and those guys. I'm curious to see kind of where this mint goes, but they definitely brought some new light into this, new money into this space, and it's been making it exciting. So I'm excited to see where this project goes, because I don't know what the black paper will hold, what extent they will go with this. If it stays a art project, if it becomes part of a metaverse down the line, who knows?
Is that 2 weeks you said, the black paper?
No, I don't know
exactly
when that's
I thought
coming.
they had a date for that. Okay, my bad. All right.
Oh, but shout out to these guys, and yeah, Jack. I got to see yours after we jump off stream here, because it's always fun to see new ones. Every single one I've seen has been cool so far.
I love the whole collection.
Yeah.
Imagine if you minted for your brother. Ooh, that would have tested you. And his showed up as a legendary. And you got some shitter one.
Just sleight of hand, baby.
That's what I was gonna say. You pull the old Beetlejuice trick, switch out your reservation number sitting in line there. Yeah.
Yep. Well, one thing I wanted to jump into too that's minting that happened yesterday for the nobles inside this project, but also the whitelist is going on today, is the Ape Society, and the public sale is actually tomorrow on Thursday the 28th. We've talked about these guys last week, and they're another project that at first on surface level, like, I didn't really think much of it. The artwork is cool. It had the brushstroke painting. The apes had funny names. As we learned, they've had a lot more going on inside the project itself. And then, dude, it's been insane to see the growth of it too. Like, these guys have taken over.
How much we kind of missed, like you said, it was kind of at first it was like, oh man, the floor's high. Ah, ha ha, funny monkey name. All right, cool. And then it just kind of moved on. Like, how many of these we could have snagged back then?
That's pretty accurate about what happened.
For sure.
Just like, oh, the floor's going crazy on these. I wonder why. I should probably look. All right, well, we got a lot of other stuff to do now, so let's keep going in the show.
Jack, how about you? I know you said you weren't really too involved with this project at all either. What were your initial impressions? Did you have any, or something that was just missed off the radar too?
I bought one when they were 500 floor, and then I sold it for the same price I bought it for, because I was getting liquidity to mint something else, and I didn't really look into the project. And then I looked back a month later, and the floor is 1,500. I was like, oh, Monkey Man's going up.
Yep, they're going to the moon. Yep. Well, the crazy thing is that we had a sit down last week with Chronic and Chrissy, who are they do their own YouTube videos, but they're big in the spaces and stuff like that. Tom went ahead and put a nice little animation for us, but they own one of those kings inside this space. And inside of that, we got a chance to listen, because those kings are the rarest out of those 35 I guess the classes that they have over there. Sorry, there's 35 families, but out of all the different tiers, the kings each family has a king. So there's 35 total kings inside the whole project, and these guys just happen to own one of them. I think the floor value, if you look on those right now, are I don't even know if anybody's really selling them.
There's that many posted. Yeah,
they 350,000 ADA for a king right now, something insane. Dude, something insane. And she actually told him to pull the trigger on it. He wanted the zombie one that you had saw kind of in the little intro video right here. He wanted this one up here, but she was like, no, we need to pull for the king. So he listened to her, and they went ahead and grabbed that. And little did they know what was about to happen for this project. But as we learned, they have a very deep, not just even a lore, but just a system in place for everything is really well thought out. And each one of these families, these perks, these classes, they all have a function inside the society, as it notes. And the kings, like she said, are at the top of the hierarchy. The craftsmen are down at the bottom. And the crazy thing is that each one of these has basically tiers up the rewards. You get multipliers, you get certain aspects of the project that you would not be able to get if you were down at the bottom. The lowest tiers are guys that build furniture for the cabins that are just minting right now. And those cabins you're going to be able to earn and sell for their society token, which we got a chance to talk about last week. But you have to have a place to actually put all that stuff. So inside of that, they went ahead and actually had, cabins that were minting. And today we got a chance to see some of that stuff. And Jack, I don't know if you've got a chance to see any of these things yet either, because again, I'm not being on the outside of the project, I didn't really know what was going on either. So to see what these are at face value, it's all built in Unreal Engine 4. But again, what does it mean? And to see what they're actually about to do is actually insane. Tom, you guys minted, right?
I got mine.
And then mint mine right after this.
Yeah. So
did you get Tommy?
I so far I've gotten the smallest one. This is what they call the chateau.
Oh, you didn't get the chateau? I'm very surprised.
I thought he got the special custom castle.
Yeah.
Oh, the big Tom house.
He got Monkey Island.
Yeah.
What was the rating on it though? Because they have a lot deeper than just the size plot. There's addresses, zip codes, ratings. Like there's a whole thing for it.
No, there's outside of this, these are the chateaus. These are the largest ones. They're like a mansion, basically. Essentially, they have the medium tier, which is the estates, and then the smallest ones are the cottages. So I ended up getting a cottage, which I had 2 whitelist spots. I ended up getting one on that. But the other thing about it they released is their world, their society, is they have cabins have unique addresses. So just like the names that each one of those apes holds, each one of these has a specific address for your, one of the 10,000 cabins that we just got minted. And out of those, they each have their own district with street names and a zip code and a number on them. And each one of those zip codes will inside of that, they have it labeled A through Z. And depending on, down the list, A is pretty much like the prime location, the spot you want to be, down to Z is like, just like, hey man, I'm on the outskirts of town and this, I'm happy to be here, but like, we're living in poverty out here.
We're probably going to get stabbed in that neighborhood.
Yeah. Like that's not the fun part of town. But each one of these cabins, they come with their own, they come with their own postcode over here. So again, these give you like these numbers. So the district code, and it gives you an X and Y axis of where on the map it is. And then this SLVD rating, which they announced, kind of gives you where A through Z, where you're at right now. So even down to the addresses, they've kind of thought this through to give you kind of just a,
I was going to say, there's just shout out the whole team for how in depth and thought out everything is about this whole project, from the apes to these cabins to everything. They really thought things through and planned out, and they're executing very well so far.
So, and Jack, I know you said because we were the same way before we really got even looking into this, was just like, I see that, like, I don't really know what it means. Like, I hear that there's a cabin and I can see pictures and stuff like that. Like, what does that mean? Do you have what's your basic take on it from being on kind of the outside, not being involved right now?
Honestly, after you going over it now and like seeing more of it, and you guys are in the project, I do think, honestly, I don't know how I haven't looked into it more, but because there's so much going on, but it looks pretty good, and especially seeing all like the in-depth parts of the hierarchies and like everything. There's it seems more thought out than I thought.
Yeah.
On it, I don't know, there's so much going on. I've been so focused on those few projects that I'm in, but this one that I wouldn't have anything bad to say, but it looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's just like I said, I can understand the whole that was why one of the reasons I didn't get into it either, because I'm usually pretty good about trying to jump into most of the big stuff that's going on, but this was just one of the ones where I kind of got priced out. When I looked at it, it was like a 700 ADA floor, and it was one of those where it was like, I might jump in, I might not, and then one day it was like 1400, and I'm just like, okay, well, I'm either priced out or I'm going to get in. And then I ended up talking to some people in the community, and they kind of pulled me into it as I learned a little bit about it. The cool thing that they're doing though, is if you can see kind of in the video, there's the cabin that were minted right now. Well, this is what the inside of some of these cabins are going to look like. And if you can kind of see in the little video there's a little ape in a frame. You have to purchase frames for your cabin. And inside of that, you can actually stake your Ape NFT to earn their society token.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's sick. That's cool.
So, and if you don't own an ape, because say you're priced out and, the floor is sitting over 2,000 plus ADA, you can actually, if you still own the cabin, you can still stake any other NFT that you own inside of a frame to earn less society token, but still own it. And so that way you don't necessarily, that's why the public mint was done the way it was today. Because you don't necessarily need to own an ape to get into the project. And then each one of these society tokens has a function to it right now where you're able to build furniture. Like I said, the craftsmen are the only ones inside the project, the lowest ones, the cheapest ones that can actually build the furniture that you can use inside of here. You can build the projectors to, we were talking with Chronic and Chrissy last week, and they were just like, can you imagine hosting like your podcast or your YouTube channel, your show inside of your cabin here to stream out and inside other things? So there's like business opportunities that kind of are arising inside of this little world too, not just necessarily, how I'm going to walk around and it's going to be fun just to kind of hang out. So that like advertise your brand or something you're a part of through your cabin. So that's opening like a whole unique aspect of like metaverses inside this space. So that's why I'm kind of excited for it.
It's cool. Like they also have it built well. Like you said, Tommy, earlier, each class has its own function and its own benefit that it comes to it. But they even thought it down as deep as like, you know, not to say the craftsman can't earn and maybe even possibly make as much as some of the higher classes. To do it, they really got to grind though. You have to sit there, you got to be on, you got to be making the furniture. Whereas like a lot of the other like upper class, they can kind of earn that passive income. It's much simpler for them to kind of earn probably the same amount of society or benefits from it, depending on which one it is, because they kind of all benefit in different ways from different things.
Well, it reminds me of like I said, a natural society. Like over here, the military officers, they actually have a chance to claim and loot other cabins and other people's stuff from their property because, you know, they're an officer and they can take stuff away from others inside of here, while on top of that earning a base multiplier. These advisors and things like that, they actually get increased rewards and get boosted staking rewards if they hold other apes. And as you get higher and higher up, the rewards get better and better. Where these guys get a 7x multiplier because they're the nobles. And then finally the kings, which we talked with those guys, they actually have access to what they call a round table there, where they get to have, there's only 35 people and they have a one-on-one like direct Discord, like access to the actual founders of the project, these guys. And if you remember, Jack, I don't know if you saw back in the day, because when we first covered them, they were called the ADA Ape Society back in the day. And they dropped the ADA. And that was actually due to the DAO that was created inside of there. So they actually listened to their community and they were just like, yeah, we should probably drop that. And they decided, okay, we're rolling with what our community is saying. And they dropped the word ADA and it became the Ape Society. So you have like exclusive access here through the round table to exactly what's going on beforehand. If you own one of those, every single one of these kings was gifted one of those chateaus, those mansions inside of there. So it plays like in a weird parallel to like society, like right where the rich get richer, the poor get, you know, have to grind their way to make it up. So it's an interesting dynamic and it's an interesting play, but they use this artwork over here to kind of lure you in. And then little do you know, there's so much more going on inside the project. So I decided we had to shout them out because it is truly a unique project. And if I had to pick one of the ape ones right now to kind of go after, like this is the one I'm looking at right now, just because there's a lot more other than just being the artwork itself.
As far as longevity goes, for sure, like what they got planned for the future, it seems like they have so much going on behind the scenes that we don't even know about, let alone the things they have told us about is very exciting. You know, if they can actually develop that and then provide it, what they're trying to build here, that'd be amazing. So it's definitely what I'm looking at as well. Yeah, see what's going to happen here at the floor. Once they get these maps out and stuff, I think it's just going to be, they said a couple days or something, they're planning on getting their version of their map out or whatever to see where our addresses fall and everything. Yeah. And then what, Tommy, you got Craftsman Thomas, Family Thomas, and you live on Thomas Street?
Yeah, I actually meant it the Family Thomas, which is a craftsman, like the lowest tier. But Thomas is my actual real name. And then on top of that, I got a property on Thomas Street today. So like it was just the trip. It just happened to work out perfect. You know, the way that these guys are set up.
I thought Tommy was short for Richard. That blows my mind. I would have never guessed.
Those are wild, dude. And then lastly, too, if anybody's just interested in how you can actually earn the society token currently, anybody who held an ape in their wallet, each epic, you're able to go to drip drops and you can actually claim your rewards. They have 10 epics that last until May 20th right now. And you're able to claim a portion of your society token. So it's also keeping the value of those guys up because you have to hold in order to claim the token for right now. So if you hold all 10 of the epics, there's actually a bigger allocation on the final one. If you've held from the start to the finish, you get a nice big dump of it at the end. And on top of that, you get a nice little diamond hands, like trophy or something like that to put into your cabin. So there's like, they're incentivizing ways to, they give you value throughout the whole time and ensure that the project is not just like a pump and dump kind of thing. So yeah, Jack, if you haven't taken a look at it, it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Especially inside the space, but it's another innovative project that's out here doing something different. And that's why we appreciate it.
Definitely. And then, now we got, once he's finished, I know as of recording this, they're having a little bit of trouble with the CNFT maker. So they're getting that sorted out. So you guys can, you got your second one still to mint, right, Tommy?
Yep.
So I know you didn't send both in at once. What was with that?
Today I decided to wait. I like
it. Let the odds play out. See if you can get it kind of narrowed down, get some of the last bigger plots. I like that. It's kind of why I waited too. I let the congestion, calm down and stuff. I want to make sure it went through. I guess I got a little lucky. I didn't realize they were having issues until before recording. So mine went through, it went through a little bit slower, but it went through no problem. But yeah, next is going to be, you know, getting your frames and setting up the staking. So I also like too, it's cool that, like you said, I don't have an ape, you know, I was a little priced out as well. I didn't get to jump in like you did at that price. And now, you know, they've obviously gone, you know, skyrocket even more. So it's cool that we were still able to get in without an ape and still get some of the land property, you know, and we'll see how these, it's going to be tough. It depends on what the market's going to do. It's going to be really difficult, you know, to make. I got some decisions to make here. I think we all do, as far as like maps coming out and land plots and stuff like that. See where this market goes. It might be a little too tempting to flip some of these, but Ape's one that I'm definitely looking at holding.
And it sits at the point too, like you said, if you're not even interested in the artwork or the ape itself, you can at least mint one of these cabins, get into it, and who knows? Like you said, you can build a brand, a business, or just advertise yourself inside this space. And that's what's interesting, because we look at like a thing like Pavia as well, that's kind of doing that for you, where you're able to possibly do things like that. These guys may not do it on the scale that Pavia is going to be doing it on, or who knows, but it's a way to get in. So I think that's an interesting aspect of what NFTs can do for you. So yeah, Jack, I know, we're, if you're looking at anything, maybe just get into, grab a cabin off the floor and see what happens with it, you know?
I might.
Especially because it locks you up. You got to have a cabin to be able to get the frame, to be able to do the staking. And that's kind of where this is really moving towards, is being able to kind of utilize that society token. And that's, you know, I think what they're pushing for. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Yeah. And if you minted a Chateau today, congrats. The floor is at 3,000 ADA. Congrats to you.
Damn. They calmed down a little bit. I think the first couple ones posted were like 400K, 100,000. And then someone came in at like 14,000. And then, I looked today and it was like 2,000 to 3,000. That seems a little bit more under control.
Yeah. So, but yeah, everything's moving, man. Speaking of another project that I'm a big fan of, and I know obviously they've been here more since the early days, and I wasn't even a fan of them at first. Over here is Derp. Derp. I'm over here. DEADPXLZ.
Derp.
We're gonna talk about that's
project.
That's a Derp right there. Derp's gonna hate me on that one, but I know we're gonna get to Derp though. That's a project that we do care. That I do care about a lot too. But it's DEADPXLZ, and Jack, dude, I know you've got some great experience on this, and this is a project that I actually, when I first was getting into Cardano, was actually watching you mint some of these, and that was one of the reasons that I got a chance to get into it myself, dude. What can you say to DEADPXLZ, man? These guys have just released an awesome update to their website. They're prepping for staking right now, and we're getting closer to the next iteration. Yep, ding.
Yeah, I mean,
congrats.
I love that. DEADPXLZ is probably it was the second project I minted, but like, as you said, I did a live stream on it. Their second season was like right in line when StikFriks released, so I was doing a live stream between StikFriks and like minting DEADPXLZ. And I mean, ever since I talked to the founder, AF, like the second I talked to him, like at season 1, like I first experienced it, and I asked him if he wanted to come on the channel, and I only had like a couple thousand subscribers, and he said yes immediately. And I mean, after I talked to him, then I was just so excited for what he's building. He's really passionate. I mean, like that's like all he ever thinks about, I feel like, is DEADPXLZ. He's always like 24/7. It feels like. I don't even know how he does it, but yeah.
Well, dude, he's one of the most progressive people inside of space, right? Like he's a Plutus pioneer. The guy's a genius. And I got a chance to watch your interview with him, and that was one of the reasons why DEADPXLZ, to a lot of people, people were slept on these things for a little bit until they decided to pick up that white paper and actually start to read it a little bit. And that's when you really saw the value for those things take off. And they had probably still to this day, I think probably my favorite mint method out of any of the NFTs, CNFTs that have come out, just because it was like you could see what was going to happen, and it was like almost like a game of like, okay, there's a rare one coming up, and everybody would kind of perk up and just be like hovering next to their computer, like who's going to do it? And then as soon as they would just launch as we got closer and closer to our rare pixel. So that was one of the fun things. I think I even did live streams maybe back in the day, watching you do that as well. It
was fun. It was unmatched to me from any, like I've never had that much fun minting NFTs ever since. But,
right?
Hard to compare. It's hard to compare to that.
Well, I feel like if anything, for as good as these guys are and what they're building, they also are kind of like slept on a little bit too inside the community with all the hype going on around. And not
Forge and the art, like the 3D art they've come out with and stuff. I think people kind of look at their main art and they're just like, oh, these are
Yeah.
too basic or something. They don't understand everything that's going on behind the scenes. They just see that initial art, which is easy to do. And then you start looking into it, and it's crazy.
Well, it was crazy because he had like the 2D versions of this stuff, right? And then Fauna last year, he started doing the 3D, like just the derivatives of everybody's pixel. Like I know Jack, I know you did as well, but I also got a custom one of my pixels by him. It was like 68 or something. He just like messaged me and was just like, "Here you go." And I was like, "Oh, that's awesome! I get to be part of the community." And later down the line, now that you see him up here, yeah, he was actually picked up by them to go do the 3D modeling. And if you had owned one of his earlier ones back in the day, they have now turned this into metapixels. And you're going to be able to bring that forward. And it's another way for people to kind of get in if they are also priced out on some of the original Genesis ones as well. But Jack, can you kind of speak onto this? Because now we got an update over here, the Ding. They're prepping for staking right now, and the staking website's up and it's live.
Yeah, I mean, I made there's a lot to talk about, but I made a 40-minute video on the dingonomics, the white paper. But essentially right now it's like, basically you stake your pixels or your metapixels and you earn their governance utility token, which is Ding, over 90-day period. There's like a 7-day right now, pre-period or preparation period. And then you I'm going to be staking mine for the full 90 days to get the max Ding rewards. And then going forward, you basically use that Ding for buying stuff in game, and also from getting tiers in game, like the play to earn game. If you have 30,000 Ding, 30,000 Ding you need to get the max tier and all the attributes in the game, and then also you're gonna be able to govern basically the future of the project with Ding. So that's pretty much just, I think this is the best way of bootstrapping it. I've seen a lot of projects just kind of airdrop their holders all at once, but this kind of lets it go out into a free market, but it also anyone can kind of claim it beforehand if they don't want to take the full 90 days. So I like the method, and I think AF, the guy behind the project, has thought this through a lot. So he's answered so many questions in the Discord of people trying to say hey, this is probably a terrible way of doing it, but it seems like what he is doing more than anyone I've seen in this space, which I've kind of always believed in him, but it's just exciting to me because I've been in it for so long. But
you've seen it since the early days, right? Since the main, you've got a chance to talk to him itself. I haven't really got a chance to interact as much in there, but I've always been on the sideline. I think I minted 3 pixels when they had launched and didn't know anything about them. I think I sold 2 of mine, just not really realizing what it was on the way up, and I held on to 1. One of the things though now is once I learned what was really going and dug into it, I was I'm not letting this thing go at all. I think Jack, you have it on there as well, but the big thing with pixels, everybody always says they have a slogan, right? The 1 pixel equals 1 house. And I think we touched on that a little bit on the last one, but they released kind of the staking rewards of what they estimate with a certain volume of the game when it does release, of how much a single Genesis, one of the 10Ks, can actually net you in a year as far as ADA goes. But did that make you excited? Because I know for me, I was just looking at them. I only have 1, but I can imagine some of those guys who hold you hold a bunch, and it's just does that make you excited?
Obviously it's very speculative, but seeing that that you could earn I think mine was 80,000 ADA from just holding my pixels. Even if it is speculation, anything like that is just ridiculous to me, and it didn't seem that out of the question considering I have a lot of faith in AF for what he's doing. So it didn't seem that crazy to me that it could happen, but it is a crazy amount of ADA, right? Just from doing nothing.
Oh really. Yeah. Well, the cool thing about them too is it's I feel I believe them more because they're just proving it. They're not, I guess that's the thing about DeadPixels, and maybe why I say that they're not as hyped as they are. It's because they don't really try to be that. He does his thing. He puts his nose down. He
grinds. Work speaks for itself, right?
Yeah. He doesn't need to market, he knows what he's building, and people will figure it out one day if they haven't already. And that's the cool thing, because every time I've ever had, anything going on, and even like you said, Jack, of him being helpful with you as far as in the Discord, if you have any questions. When I was going to swap my metapixel over from my Fauna one back in the day, I was having a transaction there, and Nami was denying me. He's like, yeah, dude, just go ahead and actually do an internal transfer to yourself for 2 ADA. And then once it does that, it should clear your UTXOs, and you should be able to get through on the website. And sure enough, as soon as I did that, I was able to get my metapixel and it went right into my wallet, no problem, you know, a multi-sig transaction. So it's having that direct access even to him, and as helpful as he was, it was really cool. Right? It felt like he's taking care of his community. And on top of that, dude's just smart. Like he's a genius.
Yeah, he is. He is really smart.
And I had a quick video that I wanted to, just as we're playing in the background here, but you can kind of see this is on the website we're at as far as the staking goes. But once you load your wallet up, these are just the two that I have. And I know there's people that have like 30, 40, 50 of these things that can do this as well. And Jack, I'm sure you as well, but you can literally just get on the website, confirm what it is, and it will create a multi-sig transaction for 2 of my NFTs to pre-stake them right now. And Jack, can you explain a little bit about that for anybody? It's the 30 days I know you can pull out, but it's a 90-day period for lockup.
Yeah, no, you don't. They're never locked up. You can pull it whenever you want, but there's just a penalty in your ding rewards if you pull it like early.
Okay.
That's so. And then right now it's just like a 7-day, preparation phase, and then after the 7 days is over, I think there's 4 days left. Then then the accrual of ding starts.
So and that goes for the 90 days, and then that's pretty much loading you up. And what exactly are you able to do with that ding itself? Is that just that's part? I know it's part of the economy for the game, and I know obviously it probably will have a value to it, right? In ADA at some point when people want to go back to convert this, right?
Yeah, I think the main utility at first is going to be the governance. Like, I'm not sure exactly the timeline on that, but also using your ding in there's a boot camp phase. I don't know if you know about that. Basically, before the actual game comes out, there's going to be an area where you can forge your characters, essentially forge your pixels to play in the game before you actually play the game, and you get rewarded in ding for participating. And you also, if you have ding at that point, I believe you have access to some more features then as well to mint like more progressed attributes or like further more attributes.
Yeah, I was reading something about that. Go ahead, Tom.
I was gonna say, have they gone over? So like, I don't have a dead pixel, so if I want to make a character, I can go in the Forge and I can even select attributes. Would I pay? Have they announced now? Am I going to be paying in ding, or are they going to keep that market?
That'll all be ADA. Yeah, that'll all be ADA.
Yeah, that's cool. That's what I wanted to make sure, because I know a large part of also the utility of holding a dead pixel is that if you have, the traits that get used a lot in the Forge by like people like me that don't hold it, you actually get like percentages, right? You actually get a piece of that action. So it's nice to hear that they're going to stick with paying out or doing transactions in ADA to kind of help fund that. As opposed to keeping the ding like flowing that way, especially because then you don't want to burn through all that. It kind of helps keep it in their own economy then.
No, yeah, and the boot camp was like what you were saying too. I know to initially kind of build up. It's almost like a training, like you said, like it's obviously a boot camp, something along those lines to kind of get you going for it.
Is that a boot camp is Simon, like a training?
It could be like a boot camp, what's another synonym for training? A little seminar. What else we got? I hate you guys. Tom, that's what I was saying as well. Is you're not, if you don't have the Genesis, right? The benefit to the Genesis right now is basically earning that passive reward of ADA as the game gets funded over there, right? I believe, Jack, I think it's a 3v3 turn-based game still. It's the way he's got this built.
Yeah, you have to bring in 3 pixels that you forged, and it's turn. Yeah, you got it right.
And with those turn-based games, that's something I'm always curious about, because like the success of something like this really rides on the fact that, like, is it fun to play? Like, it's a cool concept. And that's one of the things that for me is like, I trust that they're working on that to get it to be, obviously he's not building all this just for it to suck, right? Like he's doing this to actually engage and do something.
Does it say like what kind of game it's gonna be, or no information about that yet?
Battling. Like
is it battling? Okay.
Yeah, 3v3 or whatever, or your team versus there, but you have 3 on it. That's what I was saying. I mean, see, it's definitely something it's doable, making it fun. I was just playing For the King this weekend, and that's you have a party of 3 people. We had 3 people playing, controlling each one, and it's all turn-based. All the moving too, but all the fighting is take your turns. It's based on rolls and stuff, so it's definitely something that they can do as far as this game goes. Something that's similar. I can see that being a blast.
Well, and it's PvP too. Like, so obviously we've talked about this in the past, not to dive deep into any of this stuff, because we could be here. Like Jack said, he made a 40-minute video on it, and I think he could still talk about it even after that. Check out that
video too, for sure. Yeah, if you're not getting enough from this one, check out Jack's video. But yeah, I remember this for sure. I just remember when we went over the different, you were just on there, Tommy, the different races or species or whatever they call them. Faces. Okay.
Bases. Yeah.
Bases. Okay.
And each one of these all have different attributes and, different things you can actually stack on top of these. And that's where all the different attributes that you see in game are able to be added on to increase your character's, stats. Right. And certain ones allow certain, more foraging options than others. One thing that was interesting with that is, like you said, if you earn or if you hold one of the Genesis, those are the things that get paid out ADA rewards, and why those Genesis tokens are as high as they are right now. And I guess the game economy, I know, Jack, I was watching the video with you as well, but anything that's spent in ADA, it goes into that forged treasury, and then some of that stuff gets paid out in actual PvP rewards. So even if you don't own the pixel itself, right, you can earn ADA by playing the game.
That's pretty cool. That's a nice incentive though too.
Yeah. And that's super interesting in itself. And again, they've got this thing very well thought out. It's not just like a simple little, like, yeah, we're releasing an NFT and making a game, and it's going to be cool, and you guys check it out. Like, it's very well thought out. It's very in depth, and every update he puts out, it's very interesting and makes me more excited. And I just feel like a lot of people don't understand it enough yet to really grasp what's about to happen with pixels as they start to kind of take off. So, Jack, I know for you, there's always that saying, like I said, the one pixel equals one house. So you got a few houses, I think, right?
Yeah, I do have
a few basements.
Yeah, just a few. Yeah, you can upgrade to, I don't know, multiple basements these days.
Yeah,
you can make it.
Well, it almost seems like, Tommy, too, this is a project that's been around since, one of the originals. So it almost seems like one that, like you also said, you don't see them talk a lot. They're not exactly, one of the bigger profile pictures on Twitter. So it seems like some of the newer people that maybe have gotten in like since December, just within the last 4 months or 5 months, they don't really seem to know about Pixel. It seems like one that's kind of under their radar, because everything else, obviously Clay's and Boss Cat Rocket Clubs, Shield Kongs, Ape Society, they see all these new ones coming out and posting stuff all the time. And these guys kind of are operating behind the scenes for the people that have held them now for a year to kind of deliver for those people. So I feel like that's kind of why they get a little like under the radar, just from what I see. Like you don't see a lot of new people know what that is.
Well, it's a very high barrier to entry too right now.
That
right?
too.
Like,
yeah. It's one of the ones you just see. It's like, oh, I'm not going to get that. I'm looking for a new mint or something. So it just ends up being they don't end up looking into it enough, and how much they really have going on.
Yeah, actually, I haven't even looked at this yet. While I was letting this load, it literally is showing me that I'm staking, my two things right now, and I can actually unstake it. So, Jack, I did not know that, where I could actually pull that out at any time. I thought I did have it locked up and for a certain period of time. So it's just a penalty that I'll receive.
Yeah, you won't get much ding rewards, but
so I'm basically gonna get dinged for getting off too early.
Well, just saying, coming off that white paper, you're just looking at their white paper, Tommy. I know we're big shots now, so I'm sure Ren Ellis is listening to this whole show. For the black paper they have coming out, or dark paper, whatever they're calling it, please live up to that name. Don't blind me when we have this up on the show, right? To look at a white PDF.
Oh my gosh.
And let's make it an actual dark paper, or whatever they called it. That'd be a relief. That'd be fantastic.
These guys hate me for this when we do these screen shares, because they just get blinded over by everything over there.
It washes out the camera and stuff too. Like we look like idiots.
I've had to put my whole computer into dark mode because of these guys over here.
I don't know how you can look at it though. I don't get it. How are you not blinded? Not this specifically, but like the shit you used to look at. I'm like, how are you even staring at that right now?
I'll be honest with you. If I was creating this right now and I was doing this, I'm like, my concern is not some guys over here reading this online and being like, yeah, you know what? That's probably getting a little bright for these guys. I'm going to tone it down just a little bit.
I'd just be concerned about my own eyes reading it all day.
I could be, dude. I need to get some blue light glasses. But shout out to Dead Pixels and the team over there, man. Because I know they've been doing this. They've come up, I guess, technically, right? They've been in the space for a year. If I've looked at this,
May was when they minted the original collection originally. But yeah, so pretty much been out for a year. I think AF's been working on kind of had this brand in mind, the Pixels brand, for like a long time, many years. But yeah.
I'm telling you, man, don't sleep on these guys. This is something that if you are kind of on the outside looking in, definitely keep an eye on it. And then as the boot camps, whatever it is, where you can actually go to mint your own. I'm excited to actually be able to play the game when it does come out, because that's where it's going to get really fun. Being able to kind of see what you've invested in and then start to use it. in this space. And we're all kind of pushing to that, that time and period over here where you bought these NFTs and eventually you're going to be able to do something with them. And then Jack, one of the ones that I have to talk about and we have to talk about over here is Yummi Universe. I know you love Yummi, right? You're a big fan.
I do love Yummi.
And I always see you inside the gym, right? I mean, how can you not? This is probably one of our favorite projects, and from everything that I've seen with you, probably one of yours as well, right?
It is indeed.
Yeah. The team over there is so much fun, man. They're such humble people. David is an amazing guy. And just every single mod, every single person inside of there, Shannon, everybody, it's just so nice. But for me, it drew us in where we were huge Pokemon fans to start with. So seeing something like this, we were instantly drawn last year when they were getting ready to mint. So much so that I was out, I was buying the boxed and everything leading up to that. And I missed out on all the trading cards and everything prior to that. Jack, what was your first introduction to Yummi?
It was the PFP collection in September, the end of September, I think it was. Yeah.
Yes.
That was my first. I didn't even know they had, I didn't know about the trading cards or anything at the time, but yeah.
Oh, really? So you saw the profile pics coming out and you're like, these are awesome. I'm going to go ahead and buy these.
I tried to mint I think I minted 4 and I bought one on the aftermarket for 800 with the McDonald's hat that day.
Oh,
so I really liked
nice.
it.
That's so awesome, man. And then from there, it's just, everybody, obviously that at one point in time, these guys were king early back in that time period. And then, they kind of went silent for I'd say about after the Spoopy release, it kind of went silent for about a month right before the winter stuff started to come out. And then later down this line this year, they announced the fact that, that big announcement with the game, the staking, other things in the works, and then the spring Naroos that were getting ready to come out. And that got the spark reignited for Yummi. But for the people who are always over there, I felt like Yummi, outside of just being something that we liked, was just a good community. Everything about them, it was just fun to, I always just popping in there, just dropping a stabby emoji or something like that. And just popping in to say hi. Everybody's so welcoming over there. How's your experience been with Yummi since then? And any of the announcements and everything that they've announced so far with staking in regards to the game? What are you excited about most about this project?
Honestly, I've never been too worried about Yummi. I don't know if that's the way to put it. I've always kind of just been there because I did like the original art. That was the main reason. But after, seeing their game release and seeing everything and seeing how passionate David and the rest of the team are for really putting together something high quality, and they're taking their time. I'm just excited. I don't really care if it comes out, anytime soon. I'm just gonna be holding my Naurs probably and just kind of just relaxing, staking them now. When is it? The 15th we can stake them?
Yeah, we got the great announcement, right? Well, lucky us, we got a chance right before we jumped on the recording. They announced this today. You have the airdrop for the season 1. We had the spring Naroos, which we talked about. Those just minted. So we have 3 out of the 4 seasons that happened right now. But now the big one is if you're holding any of the boxed, the unboxed, the trading cards, any of those things, you're going to be able to stake, get an airdrop for those for holding. And then on top of that, you're going to be able to start staking your Naroos. So yeah, if you hold any one of these early things, they're taking care of their rewards and rewarding holders. These were some of the first ones that I got into, the box, the unbox, the burger buddies. And one thing, the cute and stabby cute and stabby is my favorite out of all those. Do you have a favorite one of these at all, Jack?
I mean, I do own that one in the bottom left, the unbox. I own one of that. I own that guy.
Yeah, do you? I don't know if he's the tough. He's not tough love. Yeah.
I love the shades of the gold chain.
I like them all. They're all so good though. I don't even know.
Yeah, it's true.
I know. We talked about it too. Is this looks iconic? This isn't necessarily because it's a Cardano project or what. This could be a globally successful brand.
I agree.
And that's
that look for sure.
Yeah, they have that appeal. We always refer to the Naru as the Pikachu of their brand. It could fit perfect in any one of those universes that they're inspired by. But one thing that a lot of people don't know too is these trading cards. Yes, these things they're going to reward you handsomely for holding any of the unboxed. If you happen to have one of the shinies or the glitched, or one of the special little rare traits that happen inside of there, you're going to get a nice little chunk of Yummi coin airdrop to you here on the 10th. But outside of that, these little playing cards that people sleep on a lot are actually going to be used as a in game to actually be able to play and battle with. And there's only 7 of those different variations of them. So I think people sleep on that too. And it's one thing that I'm excited for as the game starts to release. And they dropped it already inside their late paper, which we've got a chance to talk with the devs over there, and shout out to those guys for coming on with us. But yeah, you get a handsome reward for sitting onto these things. So I was happy to see that.
Yeah, it's cool. They're gonna like go back and make sure they're taken care of. They cut off a chunk for those guys. You know what I mean? Like they've been there since the beginning, so of course we have to reward that.
Yeah. And then, like you said, Jack, we just got an announcement for this too, is the 10Ks. If you hold one of the 10K Narus or even the seasonal Narus that have launched, May 15th is the date that you get to jump onto the website and you get to finally get to stake your Yummi, lock them up into a smart contract and start earning Yummi. And I think if we remember right, when we talked to them, it's either 3, 5, or 7 weeks that you get to put them in for. They'll lock them into a smart contract onto their website here. And
you can't take them out either, though. Those have to leave in there.
Correct. Yes. Those are in a smart contract so that's also a decision to make too, though, right? You don't necessarily have to, you have to think about it. Like, what if Yummi moons in that time frame? Do you want to be sitting on something that you can't sell? Which I like because it lowers the supply of Yummi, and technically the community decides the value of these things. Because depending on how much they're staking, that creates less demand, less supply, and then maybe increased demand if they build a game and the card packs, like they're saying, are as fun as we think they're going to be.
So especially high staking, especially ones that have high staking values, like you said, Tommy, because if you have a good Yummi that's going to be getting a lot of Yummi token for staking, you're going to be staking it. So all those ones that have like really high returns are going to be locked up in contracts. So if you're someone that doesn't really care about the actual Yummi token and you have one of those ones, you're going to be able to see increased demand for it because no one's going to be selling those ones that have a lot of Yummi. They're all going to be staked.
No. And on top of that too, obviously you have like the very legendary ones that you have that earn a ridiculous amount, which do we ever address this? The 420.69?
I did a DM to them. I brought that to them. I was like, how did we miss that during the interview? I didn't remember that at all.
Yeah. The one of one legendary Narus over here earned 420.69 staking rewards, or Yummi, as they locked us up. And these are all in a monthly value, right? Like that's what these are estimated rewards at. And one thing to point out for a lot of people too, right now, if they don't know, is we're about to first launch into those seasonal Narus over here. So you can always sort by, different whether it's the OGs or one of the 3 seasons, the Spoopy, which is the autumn, the winter Narus, the Christmas ones, or the spring Narus. But you can sort these right now. And when this does go live on May 15th, you get a 4x rewards right now for holding these. So some of these are going to earn even more than the OG 10Ks. And so, Jack, I don't know. I'm sure you hold some of these right now too, as well, right?
Yeah, I got a few. I have like quite a few of the winters and the Spoopies, but I only minted I think 2 springs. But I got each season. I need each season. So
you got to have one of each season, right? Because even like you said, some of this stuff, some of these rewards are insane. Like you multiply these by 4. Or maybe these aren't at 4 because these are the one-of-ones. But yeah, you multiply this by 4 over here, you're sitting at a pretty penny right now as far as Yummi. And we haven't really got an announcement as far as how much the card packs are going to cost or, what the in-game currency prices are going to be. But, if you're staking some of these higher ones, I can imagine you're going to probably be able to fund yourself inside the ecosystem pretty decently. And if anybody we've talked about in the show before this is the website for the staking, which goes live, like you said, on the 15th. But if you're curious on how to actually sort this, CNFT Jungle actually is one of the websites that does a good job of integrating the rewards over here into the website on top of telling you where to go to buy them over here. So you can actually sort.
My guy gets a lot, dude. Shit.
So if you look over here, these are actually now in season and they have the multipliers attached to them right now. So shout out to TJ awesome. Right now. You want to scoop TJ's, you can buy it for $790.
I didn't know I had like the top 7.
And dude, you better.
Oh, it's on sale. That's why. Never mind. Because you have it on sale. Click. You have that clicked on.
Yeah, but most people, if you are looking to pick up on secondary right now you can go sort and maybe potentially find some good deals over here for some of this Yummi that's about to go. 5,000 Yummi. If you look over on the 10K collection, that's costing you more than what this is listed for right now.
I was gonna say, look at that one right next to TJ's. You get 30 more Yummi, but 48 8 or less.
There you
go.
Knock
that off just right underneath TJ.
Jack, do you ever look at any of these sites or anything like this?
I did look at the lookup when because you can load in your wallet for that one, and I was I think I forget what it was. I think it was around like 40,000 Yummy for the OGs that I had at the time, which is quite a bit. Or maybe I don't even know how much it was, but
I'm curious because I haven't loaded up. I think one of my wallets are connected right now. I'm actually curious too because I own a lot of the seasonals. I only own 5 OGs.
Okay, I see. It says you're 39,000. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't have that at the time, so I manually calculated it. But I probably have to go back and check now.
Dude, you should go. That's gonna be fun to see that. I haven't looked at mine in a while yet since it updated. So that's cool to see. I wish I would have invested more into the 10Ks. But I was going for like a whale roll inside the Yummy Discord, and there was no way I was making it to the 10K whale roll, so I had to go for the seasonals. But yeah, that's actually really cool too. So they actually have the sort rewards you can see, but if you click on this button and hook your wallet up to it, you can actually see how much Yummy estimated you're about to earn for a month. So that's actually cool to see. I'm just hoping those card packs.
Hot damn!
Where'd you get that bucket hat one, Tommy? With I didn't know you had one with the Goku.
Oh, the little doji? Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, we picked up a couple of these throughout time. But yeah, man, Yummy has been one of the ones where I always feel like at home.
Humble brag.
Dude, I mean, that's where you talk about those CNFTs and these projects that we mint all the time. We spend a lot of money doing this stuff just in general. And the fact that you always want to invest, where you see the long-term play. And Yummy is definitely one of mine where I find at home, not just for the community. And I love everybody over there, but I really do believe in the project. So I put any profits and stuff that I have, and I reinvest a lot of my stuff back into them just because I'm there for the long term. I'm not going anywhere with them. I haven't sold a single Yummy to date since I've had this stuff. So I'm just sitting on them,
Yeah, there's your classic bubblegum blowing guy right there.
Yeah, shout out to Tom. That's what got him started in animation. Before we even became a podcast, he animated this little guy.
Around with him.
And then Animate Bits, I think, picked it up as a derivative stuff, and he made it with your thing. So shout out to him. Yeah, Jack, dude. What's your final take with Yummy right now? Are you excited for the future?
Same as you, honestly. I did get more Yummy. Like I got more NARS back in January, I think it was, and I haven't. Because I was just I read their white paper, or no, I didn't read the white paper. I was just like looking around at things to reinvest into the ecosystem rather than just take profits out, because I haven't really done that ever. But
yeah,
like I just put it into Yummy or DeadPixels or now Mocossi, the 3 projects that really I've been looking for long term as investments. But
you think you'll be playing the game some as well for Yummy, or are you just kind of in right now for the
no? I think I want to play the game for sure. I think also Yummy is one of the ones that looks like mass adoption, as you said, not even the brand, but also just the game in general. I feel like it's going to be more, anyone can play. Their white paper said kind of like entice that too, the free to play, I think it was aspect, or I forget what it was, a low barrier entry at least, right?
Because I think the first initial pack right now, what they're doing is because they're all self-funded too. They don't have like funding behind them. So the first card packs that I know they announced that is going to be an ADA. You're going to have to purchase the cards with ADA, and then every single card pack, as far as I know, after that is going to be only with the Yummy coin itself. So we've talked about this, and this would be fun to do too with you, is doing the live. How people do like card pack openings with Pokemon, right? Can you imagine doing Yummy pack openings?
That would be fun.
Yeah, we'd have to hook up for like a live stream or something like that, and just connect the wallets and start. If you're earning a lot of that Yummy token, like that's the part. I just want to open all that stuff up and just start funding enough to feed my habit of card packs inside of there. So shout out to Yummi Universe, shout out to David and Shannon and the whole team, all the devs over there, everybody in chat, man. It is it's one of my favorite, and it feels like home. One of those Discords you feel at home with. You cannot be in there for days. You post a little emoji and it's just boom, everybody just hits you with a stabby or spells out the name. I know Jack, they love you too over there. They always spell out Jack underneath their so I love that too. But yeah, big shout out to Yummi Universe. We're big fans of the project, and they're an awesome group. I know you mentioned over here, Jack, Mocossi was another one, which is another play to earn game over here with the cute creature over here. Is this is a project for us that when we first covered, I think we mentioned them maybe one time on the podcast, maybe back in December, and we were concerned because the Mocossi paid like tributes to like Stales, like the fire elemental,
I remember
Yummy,
that.
And we were like, I don't know, is this just like a copycat?
So was I was like that at the time too.
Really?
Sure. They actually went back and changed them. I didn't even know that till like a week ago.
Did they?
Well, it was also it was a period of the market too, because we had just came out of like, I mean, it was a little bit later, but we were in the thick of it, where like now things weren't selling out, everything didn't flip for 5x or 10x, and we were starting to see like a lot more rug pulls or at least projects that were coming in and just kind of like copy and pasting. Either a lot of it back then was like off of Google, like just stealing stock images, copy and pasting it on like a base model, and then kind of like just run away with everyone's money. So we were all very, very skeptical and very focused and tuned in on these, like, everyone had their spidey senses, like looking for these, copycats or money grab projects. And I mean, now we're 6 months later, Mocossi's still going strong and developing though. So it definitely wasn't what we at least first kind of judged it by its cover.
Absolutely not. I definitely one I slept on after the fact. And it was one of those ones where it was like a pride thing for me too, of like, damn, I missed out on this one. I didn't originally think it was much. And then to see them kind of build and do what they're doing, I never was open-minded enough to get into it. I was like, if I'm going to choose a cute creature one, I guess I'm going with Yummi because I'm already invested there. But yeah, Jack, I know what's the big draw for you? Why did you change your mind kind of from the initial impression to where you are now?
Yeah, so most of it was honestly because I do talk with a lot of people in the Dead Pixels community, and a lot of them are into Mocossi. Like, honestly, probably majority, especially the active people in there. There's a few people who have put like huge Mocossi proposals together for the Rats DAO and the other DAOs. Darashi and David King. I don't know if you know those two people, but they're really big advocates of Mocossi. And reading their proposal, I was interested. I read it, and that night I went and dropped like, I think it was like, it was a lot of ADA. It was like 10,000 ADA on Mocossi, which was at the time they were like 200 ADA each, and I mean, it was a lot of money. But I just thought, hey, a little bit of a gamble, have some fun. I'm in my mom's basement. Like, how bad is it gonna get? Like, how much further down am I gonna go? And the team's been building. They have the breeding. That's what the breeding was coming out at the time, and I've just seen them do AMAs, and they're very active, very communicative. So, from what I first thought, I saw like all the Yummi controversy back in the day. I didn't bother with it back then, but coming this year, like 4 months later, seeing them still here and having a breeding game and all that, it really interested me, and I'm excited to see what they're going to come up with next. But I do think that they are going to be kind of that Axie kind of feel, right? And they have a lot of quality and a lot of good team experience behind them, so I'm excited.
Yeah, that was one thing that I didn't realize. Like I said, the 3D aspect never even occurred to me what they were actually trying to build, and they're very far along, like you said, in terms of where the rest of the space is, right? Compared to some things. So the breeding was what I've started to notice, and I don't know what this stands for. What does the ITO stand for? I always see that. Do you know what that means? Or I always see like the version 2 of these things. Or
I just know the ITO ones are the yellow ones, the ITO 2s are the purple ones. I don't know what they stand for necessarily. Actually,
I don't know. It's a great question. I'm over here because I'm like ITOs. I'm like, why are those ones cheaper? And I was like, those are the ones that breed. So how were you able to breed? What did you have to have besides the initial Mocossi?
Yeah, so you basically take 2 of the ITO ones, the yellow ones, and you put them together, and it's like 20 ADA. You can breed once every 7 days, and every time you breed further, it's another 2 ADA. So now I've bred them like 4 times each. I have like, or 3.5 times each. I have like 70 of the ITO 2s. But now it costs like 30 something ADA to breed one, so it gets pricey. But it's fun, right? It's kind of addicting. Like the other day I was saying like, oh, just one more breed, and I was talking with people in the Discord chat, and I said one more probably like 13 times. So
it's fine. It happens.
There's a big reveal, and it's like that minting crave, but you're not spending that much ADA. Well, it is a little bit, but it's fun. It's fun. That's all.
So the breeding aspect of it. So it's only you don't have to just have 2 different ones. That's the main thing to it, or
just 2 separate ITO ones, the yellow ones, and then you can breed them together.
And then what's the point of breeding them? Like, is there a reason to do that? I know, like, obviously I've seen Derp Birds have like Derp planes. Like, what is the point of having them to breed one of those? Like, I guess a child version of these things.
So you do get the ITO 2, which you'll be able to use it in their game. But also when you breed, like the the ITO1s, every breed count, you skip a level. So when you come into their actual game, if you've bred your first generations, your yellow ones, like 5 times, you'll be level 5. You'll skip right ahead to it. So it's like a bypass to the leveling system in that sense too. And then you also get more Mocossi reward, or like they have their own token. You get more rewards per ITO2s and ITO1s you have, but also per how many times you bred the ITO1. So there's a lot of incentives hidden there. And I mean, the team's thought it out pretty well, because like it does drive a lot of people to get into the ecosystem and already get started before the game's even released.
Yeah. And so outside of that too, because I did notice that there was an announcement over here. Besides the breeding, they have lands that are getting ready to come out. These 3D lands. Do you have any information on that stuff? Because I don't know what that means. Obviously, everybody's doing land drops these days.
I don't know if you can pull it up, but they have like these are like the base 3D ones, but the concept ones actually look really good. Like there's the 2D concepts. I might scroll down a bit, but essentially, yeah, like that one, they're having a land sale, and you're going to be able to put your ITOs on them and actually like, use a land in game.
Really?
Like it's going to be actual, and they're all different. You can customize them as far as I know, but basically, yeah, you get also another incentive is if you have the ITO1s and the ITO2s, the more you have of each, the more whitelist spots you get for the land. So I'm going to be, I think I was up to like 3,000 ADA worth of land I have to buy, and I plan on buying it all.
Jesus.
I plan on minting it all.
Giddy up, all right.
But yeah, so there's another incentive if you actually want to spend a lot of ADA on land, but I plan on doing it. I like the project, and I think the quality, like it looks good. I mean, I don't know where it's going to go, but I think the team's pretty dedicated.
I love this. I hadn't seen the land plots like
yeah,
this.
they
I've
look
been
really
sleeping
good.
so hard on this.
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of different ones too.
Like Zelda or some on the Game Boy, and I'm all about it. I was going to say then the game, is it? It almost seems like it's going to be more like a like Animal Crossing kind of game sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like that's, I guess, Tommy, we always, and TJ, we always kind of thought like this is the Digimon to the Pokemon. And also we were Pokemon fans. So Digimon could go, fuck itself. I don't know if we're aging ourselves or dating ourselves with Digimon references, because they've kind of died away. But that's what it really kind of seemed like. Whereas they're more, and they would probably, I don't, what they would like to compare themselves to. It's hard to do comparison or analogies, but like kind of like a Tamagotchi or mixed with a kind of like Animal Planet or Animal Crossing. It seems like, where it's just kind of like a virtual world where you take care of your pets and you can build things up and make your little land plots and hang out in like a social space almost.
Yeah, well, seeing, like I said, this is different than what I was originally anticipating too. Like I saw like the 3D, we all see the land plots, right? Like I guess one of the more animated ones out of the space right now has been Cardania, with some of the way those plots have looked. But outside of that, it's the famous like grass, like with Pavia and stuff. But to see like this like little image on this where you actually put your Mocossi on there and actually, I guess, earn. Yeah. So the whole point of this is to earn. Do they have like in-game like currency and stuff outside? I know the Mocossi token is something, right?
Yeah. So I think they have like an in-game token called like Moshi, and you can convert it to the Mocossi, like MCOS later. I'm not 100% sure on all the mechanics with the lands and like the game in depth, because a lot of that hasn't been revealed. And also like I don't understand all of it yet, because there's a lot to grasp there, and there's a lot of like there's a lot of hidden things they've kind of aren't fully released, right? So I mean, I'm gonna play the game, like I'm gonna play Yummi, I'm gonna play the DEADPXLZ game, I'm gonna play this one because there are 3 projects I'm heavily invested to. But like I don't know when it's gonna come out. I don't know when the final game's gonna come out. But I know Mocossi, they have like different phases. They have the breeding game, they have a pet game, and then they have a Mocossi Planet game. So there's like 3 different games technically.
Yeah, well, there's a lot to it. So the breeding aspect's curious too, because I'm just like, as I'm scrolling here too, learn kind of my first take on this is like, so you're breeding one of it. There's like this little bonus thing up here too. So there's other stuff outside of just making the NFTs and getting, like they said, the first and secondary.
There's some mechanics to it for sure.
Yeah.
So TJ, help us out here. What's a floor check on the Mocossi there?
Look at right
because I'm gonna have to snag one of these.
Yeah.
Right. Which one?
I mean, I'm assuming
ITO2s. Which one?
It doesn't matter.
ITOs are 460 and ITO2s are 69.
Jeez. Okay. So yeah, we got to get in on this, huh?
I wonder if the ITO2s will have like, I assume they're gonna. benefit, you know, for holding to some of the holders as far as these land sale goes. I wonder if they're going to open any up to the public, or they're going to do like
there is a bit of
raffle
land sales.
Okay,
I think it's like maybe it's less than 1,000 for public, and then ITO2s if you have 5 of them, like before the snapshot. I think the snapshot hasn't happened yet. If you have 5 of the ITO2s, you get a whitelist spot. And if you have 2 of the yellow ones, ITO1s, you get a whitelist spot as well.
Wow, okay.
Okay, so you got to spend a little ADA right now to get that. But
you do for sure.
Do you know the total drop then? So you said 1,000 for public, or about
it's 10,000. 10,000 land drop. But like to be honest, that to me, I think that's pretty good compared to like Pavia and like other land drops that are 100,000, 60,000, 50, like whatever the crazy numbers. But these ones I haven't minted any land except for like 1 Pavia and like obviously I minted Clay Nation, but I've never been this excited to mint something, and this like, and also willing to put so much money into mint than I have for Mocossi.
Oh man, So I've been sleeping on this, and I've been seeing more and more people. I actually do believe I saw David King mention Mocossi at one point, and I kind of just shrugged it off because, again, I think it was pride more of the fact that I couldn't do it because I saw how well they were doing. I was just like, I can't commit to that. Another one like that, like Chill Kongs, I was like that. It's the same way. But dude, the artwork, and I like the style of their art too. Like these land sales, it's cool to see like their take on like this, like their metaverse, their world, or whatever you want to call it. The game, I guess, it's a game at the end of the day, right? So what do you know any of the mechanics of what the game itself you're going to be able to do, or is it just so like it's there's a game and I'm not sure exactly what it is that you're going to be doing in that game?
I know they have revealed a lot of the details, but like most of my focus has been on like the fundamentals behind where they're going. I know there's obviously the breeding game. I don't know if I call it a game, but that's what they say, the breeding game, the breeding that they have now. Then they have a pet game, which is like kind of feeding you're feeding your pets, you're keeping your pets healthy, like stuff like that. That'll be in
Tamagotchi.
Tamagotchi.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was looking for. Yeah. And then there's also going to be the whole Mocossi Planet game, which is a little bit a ways out, which is kind of tying everything together. I think the land and like being able to actually go and, battle or whatever else with your ITOs, your ITO1s would be like, you can get 3D versions by holding the original NFTs and stuff like that. So there's a lot to it. I didn't even cover like half the stuff I'm saying now in my video when I did do a video on them. They've been developing really fast though. It's like, it's pretty impressive to see how much they do every week because they do weekly AMAs and weekly progress updates.
Well, I can see why people have been yelling at us to talk about them.
I know we've been
so like it's like blinders seg. Like I have some guys.
I'm surprised David King hasn't said something about it. He gave us a nice little shout out, and he wasn't just like, look at these idiots just not talking about Mocossi ever.
Yeah, they're talking about Yummi, which obviously Yummi's a good.
It's been a 5th week in a row talking about Yummi.
It's like, you guys like Yummi so much, why don't you check this out? I'm definitely gonna check it out. Now this is so much different too, to even see this right here. I know it's not like a full game or anything, but to see the vision of where it is, where they could be going with this. This feels very commercially, like branding wise, very good too. Like you said, you akin it to like a Axie or something like that. Man, that's exciting. And they got the whole, so the land, do we know when the land sale is, or have they announced that date yet?
No, they haven't announced the date.
Okay.
It is really soon, I believe, though. Maybe they did announce the date, and I don't remember. But
I do this. We do that all the time, man.
I'm pretty sure it's in the next month. I'm not 100% sure, but it's coming out very soon.
Okay, good. Yeah, well, we'll go ahead and definitely check that out. And I know it was a topic that we were like, we need to cover this, but Jack is the perfect person to kind of get us segued into it a little bit.
Oh, for sure. I appreciate all the information because I honestly had no idea about it at all. Yes. Like I knew the name of it, I knew of it, of course, but I knew nothing other than that, really and truly.
Yeah.
Well, people have been way too nice. We should be embarrassed. Like it's one of those ones though, that it's not that like we weren't, I guess, paying attention. It's that when I would hear the name, I'm like, wasn't that from like 5 months ago? Like they're still around kind of thing. Just because I, like you said, Tom, I don't know if it was stubbornness or just like, I didn't get into it then. So like, oh, why would I start getting into it now? I just never even just bothered to look at all. It's kind of amazing how something that big can slide under the radar like that. As far as how much they've developed in this amount of time.
Yeah. Well, shout out to this team, man. We're sorry we haven't covered it
We're
sooner.
We're sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the South Park me, right? Well, definitely something I'm going to keep an eye on now too, and definitely not sleep on it anymore. So thanks, Jack, for bringing this one up for us. Another one that's kind of moving into their next phase right now too, which we've been big fans of since back in the day, is Derp Birds, the PRED Invasion. Jack, have you any Derp Birds or back in the day?
I do have a few Derp Birds. I think I have an egg that just never hatched. I don't even know what
it's just sitting there, right?
Yeah, it's just sitting there. But I did see their invasion coming in. It's pretty cool. It looks pretty. I like it. I like
the Preds a lot.
I really like the Derp Bird team. They're nice people.
I know we haven't got a chance yet to talk with them. I know we're in the works to try to get that set up right now. But yeah, like they're. One thing to me that's always stood out, I fought Derp so hard in the beginning, like the artwork for the actual birds themselves, I was just not drawn to it. It just kind of was like one of those ones. I remember seeing them on one CNFT and I was just like, that's not going to work. And then moved on. Right. And then, little did I know, like I'm looking at them and then all of a sudden now I find myself one night buying like an epic Derp Bird because I need to incubate an egg that I just got, and then it's going to hatch a little derpling baby. And I dived down the rabbit hole with them a little bit. But one thing that I appreciated them, because I believe, I can't remember which month it was, maybe in like November of last year when they actually did do that, the derpling like mint. And it was one of the first like multi-sig mints inside the space where you were able to connect your wallet and then turn in your egg to get to get that actual derpling itself. And that was a really cool experience. Like visually, it worked very well too, where it was just like, put your egg in there, you connected your wallet, and then boom, the baby like came out like instantly, and then got to your wallet. So
that was a cool incubator process there. Yeah, I think you have a recording of that even, right?
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
When you mint these Preds, right, it burns the birds and the derplings and the eggs, right? Does it actually burn them or no?
So right now, currently, the PRED Invasion is the next thing. This is like the next iteration of what they got going on. And from this right now, this is basically like the enemies of the Derp Birds. So they're invading Derptonia, as they call it, their planet. And you can kind of see these don't look anything like Derp Birds. They're very not like just like goofy and like silly. These things look kind of badass.
There's no derp to them.
Yeah, there's no derp. Like these things are like serious, right? Yeah. So these are a lot different, but they're the enemies of them, and they basically what they're calling locked up. I guess I would call it over on their website is, you're gonna, and the cool thing about this too is that it was free. So if you owned a Derp Bird and an egg, or a derpling and a couple eggs, I think it was at least one egg you had to have with them, you could basically mint this for free.
So they're not burned then, they're just locked up, or?
I don't know, because it goes into a multi-sig transaction on the thing, and then all of a sudden you get back a pred with it. So you lose either if you turn a Derp Bird and an egg in, you lose the Derp Bird and the egg, but I don't know if that gets returned back to you at all point. They haven't said like if you're going to be able to get it back. It's like a choice right now.
What if it's like a Benjamin's group thing where like you can turn it into the toy or the egg, whatever you want to do?
I don't know, man. Like this is, they're basically calling it like locked up because they're going to go into some sort of war or invasion from these things. But if you go to their website right now, which I don't know if it's still going to work, but I wanted to kind of show, if you go to the invasion website, you can actually this is the process of actually doing it. And they have like this ranking system over here to like actually. This is one of the cool things why I wanted to showcase this, is because, when you mint, right, you're basically relying on luck. It's like it's a gamble. You don't know. You could get the best thing in the world, like I did with Overexposed, or you could get like nothing at all. And it's just, you're sitting at the bottom. So over here, you can kind of choose your fate a little bit. And you can actually, on the corner over here, depending on what kind of Derp Bird you have, like for me, I bought an epic Derp Bird, which is like the third highest rarity inside the space. And if you look at it, it's got a 60 base multiplier. And over here, it starts at rank 1, gets up to rank 2, 3, and then finally 4. And each rank requires like a score to it. And if you select a derpling instead of the derp, at a base derpling right now, you get a base stat, and then from there you can either select what they call fuel, and those are your eggs. So this is actually the dad that I had, and then the baby that came from it. So this one was a rare baby, so it's got like a little extra multiplier. I actually bought one of these off the secondary right here. The pred attributes give you a plus 30 on this, so it automatically shoots me to rank 2. And what this is essentially is just increasing the rarity, like the guaranteed rarity. Like if you hit rank 2, rank 3, and eventually the highest rank 4, you're guaranteed to have the rarest of the rare preds inside of there. But if you don't have the ADA to spend, or don't have the eggs to actually get all these, you can take a gamble and you can still mint a rare, a rank 4 with just a base derp. There's still the gamble in there, but this is more this is more the guarantee for you. If you don't want to test your, the gambling, you just, I want a good one. I'm going to go all in. So you can choose whatever you want to choose. And then once from this screen, you can choose the fuel. I got 2 eggs sitting here right now, the base stat eggs. I need an egg to fuel this, I guess, I don't even know what it is, but I'm fueling whatever it is. And then from there, I can choose to either, over on the sideline, you can see that I sit at whatever this 55 battle preparedness. If I come over here and I want to add another egg to it, it actually bumps me up another 15 score to start tiering me up to get higher and higher on the rewards list. And then each egg, so I get 15 for the first egg, the second egg is 10, and so on. It goes down to 5 and it just stays there. So if I have any other rare attributes, it shoots me up. And then from there, you can kind of finalize your transaction. If you want to do that. I'll finalize. I'll mint one of these right here.
Well, don't use all your eggs. But you were until like 2 a.m. last night trying to figure out this system, right, and get that rank 4.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I was realizing on the secondary right now that if you do try to do that, you're probably going to spend like anywhere from 500 to 800 ADA trying to get a rank 4 right now. So it's a little tough.
Hot damn.
So I of course, this isn't going to work right now because I've been letting this sit. Hold on, maybe we're just creating a transaction. So these guys kind of work into the same system as like DeadPixels, where it all builds it in one. And once you sign the transaction, it actually, it did pop up on my screen right now, so I can actually mint. We'll see if it works. But it's at the constraints of the blockchain. It just will take my derpling, it'll take my derp egg out of my wallet, and it'll send me back my pred in the same transaction when I go to mint this. So that's why I like the Derp Bird team, because they have good technology, man. That's what's fun about them. They're not, you can call the artwork whatever you want to call it, but the fact that the devs, that what they have are, dude, they're so money right now. Like I love the fact that they push the space forward too.
We try some new things. Like I know, we talked about it actually a little bit earlier, where the incubator didn't work perfect the whole way through. They had a couple bug tests in there and stuff, but it was all new. And then they bring like that new technology, and they've even, gotten to the point where they're kind of seen as like that somewhat of an authority on how to do mints properly, and where they actually, help out the other projects and stuff. So yeah, they're definitely at the top of the game.
Yep. See, well, while we're waiting for this to submit to the blockchain, because it's there, maybe we'll do a derp, a pred reveal later inside the video as it gets through this chain. So it's actually, we'll see what happens out of it. But yeah, Jack, this is something that I really appreciated about this team, is that, dude, they're good at pushing the space forward. And I think people sleep another on this project as well. And so it's another one to possibly look into. There's so many though to keep up with, right?
Yeah, I really like Derp Birds, and they're, like, ever since they started doing multi-sig transactions and pushing for multi-sig mints, I've been very, like, I've been looking at them and just, like, been happy that they're here, because, like, I don't think the address send is really, the way that we should be doing things at all. And I really like seeing multi-sig mints, and there's been a lot more of them lately too, like a lot more.
100%. Well, the crazy thing is that they actually were developing their own minting service and advising other projects, not just doing the Derp Bird team. I know they actually helped out. The famous one was Cornucopias. When they actually did their bubble jet mint over there, they actually consulted with the Derp Bird team to set up the queuing system to be able to do the mint with them. So that was one big thing. And then we got to talk to another project called Cardopoly, where they're basically building like the Cardano version, or the online version of Monopoly on a Cardano blockchain. And their website was actually hooked up using a Nami or an Eternal, one of those two as well, and doing a multi-sig mint. And they actually consulted with the Derp Bird team for minting. So I know a lot of people have been going to them. So it outside of just their own project, they're helping others with the code and things like that to be able to develop that technology for future mints. So like you said, it's improving the space just in general, outside of their own thing. So that to me is what builds, because I know if you have a good team around you, I'm not worried about it. It's, it may take a little bit longer to get things done, but I know they're working on something good if they're being quiet,
Something new usually too, something creative, bringing something different to the space.
Oh yeah.
That level up thing is very cool when you're using the fuel and stuff. That's very interesting. And it gives, a whole new value to those NFTs that people have been holding. Kind of helps push that market of needing more eggs.
Well, that to me is just another first inside the space too. Like I don't know, maybe there are some other projects that I missed.
It's the first I've experienced it. Yeah.
Where have you got the chance to see that I can pick basically almost essentially my rarity But on the side, like, hey, I'm done. I'm not playing the game of gambling. I just want the best one that I can get. And I'm curious to see what it is. I'm going to tier it up and just select all these eggs and boost myself like that. That's something new inside the space too. As you start to see like these NFTs evolve where you can start doing add-ons to whatever your base like model is. Right. So I don't know, man, these guys are pushing the space forward in a way that I don't think most realize. And I don't think always that they get the credit that they deserve either. Just because, again, they're very quiet about how they do things. They aren't like the very flashy marketing, but when they do come out with stuff like, dude, you should be paying attention, I think.
For sure.
So yeah, shout out to the Derp Birds. Maybe we'll get a chance to talk to those guys over there.
Big shout out to the Preds. I like them quite a bit.
Yeah. And we'll come back to this. We'll see what we end up minting maybe at the end of this. Maybe it's something good. Who knows? One thing I did have to shout out to anybody who's paying attention inside the space is Clay Nation. Obviously, we got a quick little update to these guys. I know, Jack, we covered this, and I'm sure almost everybody inside the space has seen the Snoop Dogg announcement with Clays, of what they're building with their Clay Nation drop. One thing that is a kind of off topic, but just this in general is the fact that we saw this week Elon Musk bought Twitter, right? So Clays went ahead and did their own like little animation.
When did that happen? Is that new? Is that
a day ago?
I hadn't heard that. Is that news? Yeah, I hadn't heard that.
Oh, Elon? Yeah, even on Twitter.
You just casually bought Twitter on a Tuesday afternoon. Okay, I got you,
dude. Can you imagine, Jack? We were talking about this in a space actually. That's off topic from like Clays. How do you feel about that? Like that with Elon, whether you like him or not? Do you feel like that's a good?
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I feel like it pushes Web3 in like a good direction, right?
Yeah.
So I'm curious with Clays because they always do this with everybody, right? They've made Snoop Dogg, they made Steve Aoki, they've made Busta Rhymes. They have all these different celebrities, so they did a little shout out to him. Can I imagine? God, if Elon Musk acknowledged just how crazy stuff would get for Clays. But one of the big things that just happened with them, why we wanted to just make mention of it, is the Clay map has officially been revealed, not fully dropped yet. We have no idea where we're going to end up inside of this stuff. And
got a picture.
Yeah, we got a picture, and it's not just a basic picture. Like there's some interactability with inside of it. I don't know if anybody's ever hovered over the main stage over here. You actually get to hear a track from Champ, Snoop's son, Champ Medici. He's on the track, and Snoop Dogg's on the track. And my favorite line from Snoop Dogg on that track over there was Charles Hassington, what a dude, nephew. And so he's involved in the space, and dude, yeah, Jack, what are your thoughts on this? You got a chance to check this out?
Yeah, I did look at it, and I noticed that I didn't realize that it's like custom music already just for this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have I have a plot in the Sonic Village. I think I have a plot in there, and
yes.
I'm excited for the land reveal, but I'm excited also just to see not only Clay Nation, but just to get in the metaverse, like actually
do something.
But I think Clays will be the most fun because you actually get to be like this 3D clay figure.
Yeah.
I think it'll be pretty hilarious.
It's fun. Like you get a chance to download. We were talking about that in an earlier episode where we downloaded our FBX file and we're putting them in those free websites where they do the crazy animations. So it's cool to take your profile pic that everybody always flexes with, but actually get to see it move and do stuff.
Well, I'm curious how they're gonna move because all I have in my head is those old school Christmas movies, like the Rudolph and Santa's Coming to Town one, the stop motion Clays moving around. So I'm very curious to see how they do that.
I always think of Celebrity Deathmatch.
That too, exactly. Celebrity Deathmatch too as well.
Yeah,
Gumby and Celebrity Deathmatch.
Well, the crazy thing for me is that the plots did very well. We were talking about the volume for them too. They did something insane. I don't remember. It was I don't know. It was a 3 to 11 million, something crazy. Within the first
somewhere between
days,
2 million and 100 million.
Something crazy though. They're now okay. So I'm looking at them now, dude. No, not even that. Just the fact that these guys have, I think they jumped to the number 11th spot overall inside the CNFT market within 3 days. They're at the number 10 spot right now in volume for CNFTs. And these guys
just the plots though too.
Just the plots.
Not Clays, including the 10K, nothing, no underworld, just the plots.
So 6.2 million ADA has been traded so far within the plots, which has put them at the number 10 overall in volume. So you can obviously there's hype built around it. Anytime you put Snoop Dogg in something, obviously people are going to come to it. So they've got this whole area up here for Baked Nation. But one thing I did appreciate about it, and I know Pavia, is a very vast map that has 100,000 plots. These are roughly about 32,000 of these. But each one of these is got nice little like landmarks built into the website over here. And like I said, the main stage is where, I'm assuming where the main concerts are. They've already talked about that Sonic Village, the main spot, is where their original 10K clays you were able to mint. So the most value is going to be giving to this area inside the world. But even if you did hold one of the good Charlottes, the Underworlds, you do have the Underworld thing here. And like they have the After Dark Disco that I liked on the map here. They have all these different little hubs. They have another stage inside of the Underworld too. So immediately my thought has to go like, right, they're going to have good Charlotte do some sort of concert in here, you would think, right?
Oh, absolutely, for sure.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, they have like these little Decentraland like stations or decentral stations, like these little trains on the map that bring you places. Inside of this part of the map, you have the Field of Dreams inside of Bake Nation with like a tent over here too. So I can only imagine that Snoop and they're going to take advantage of those. They've already talked about doing stuff inside this place too. So dude, I'm excited because right here, if you ever notice, like there's like this little dotted line that just happens to go to another portion of this over here that we don't even see, and there's a whole other like unfound like landmark here. So who knows where this could really go if it does take off.
That's where Arya goes. That's west of Westeros.
You have these locked style like stuff too, right? I have no idea.
I'm curious what the locks are. That's what I want to know. Is what are these locks going to reveal? Is there like different sections that you're only allowed in and they're locked off to other people? I'm very curious about that.
When I didn't know, but it was inside the Discord and Club Clay when like things were just getting started when the map revealed, and she goes, has anybody got a clay key? And then apparently the clay keys are going to do something with these locks, and I don't know how to obtain a clay key, but the clay keys are going to do something with these to unlock certain content or certain things. So the big thing is they dropped a nice little FAQ over here on the website. If you don't know, the main thing is that the coordinates, everybody wants to know when that's happening. They're going to release it when they're ready to. They just said, stay tuned to the Discord. And then the plots are actually going to get built and automatically updated the metadata inside there. So you don't got to do anything. They're just going to get automatically updated, and they're going to be about as transparent as they can. They said, as far as to how these get allocated, it's going to be completely random, I guess, is how they're going to do it. And there are going to be more details on how that happens as well. The big thing that everybody always asks is between the small, medium, and large plots, they finally identified what a plot is. So you have a 1x1 for a small, a 2x2 for a medium, and a 3x3 for a large. So those large plots are going to be significantly bigger, at least 3 times compared to the one. So is it now or 9? At least 3 times bigger.
It needs to be at least Center France.
Jack, what are your thoughts with Clay? Because obviously we're going to an airdrop as well for holding these lands.
I mean, I have like one Clay plot. It's a large Sonic, but I mean, nice. I'm always going to hold something for Clay because
for sure.
It just seems like one of those projects that's going to be here. Like I can see it here in a year or 2, 3 years. So
it's just, it feels fun too. Like if you're a big part in the CNFT space, like owning a Clay seems, it's like a very like big goal for a lot of people. Especially if you missed out like back in September last year, because they've always hovered around a really high floor. It's been a very high barrier to entry to get in. So even recently, once they started to announce these stuff, the undergrounds even took off. So it's definitely pricey to get in, but for what they're trying to build, it could take off, it could not, but I know if anything, you're going to get to whirling around with a virtual Clay and listen to some cool music and upgrade yourself and with different attributes. So, and the team there, I don't know. I've never gotten a chance to, I talked to Lena one time inside of a Twitter space. But outside of that
was cool though. That was huge. Just even that, I was like, this is awesome.
There's this down to earth, like Jack, have you got a chance ever to talk to their team?
I was supposed to I think a month and a half ago I was gonna have Lena on the channel, but I can imagine that she was got kind of busy, and so was I. So I think that's gonna be rescheduled, but I haven't reached out to her since. But yeah, I'm excited to talk to her.
Yeah,
I know they're passionate and they're just they are down to earth. They're just chill.
They're super nice. Like they're always transparent too. And she has like, even after, I remember too, because I wasn't in the space, but people we knew, as soon as the mint started happening for all the lands for the pitches, she jumped into a space later that night and talked for like a couple hours and just kind of answered questions as best she could and was just there to kind of talk about the project. So this is like their baby, right? They're I think the whole thing with them was just like they want to have a virtual place to hang out and listen to good music and chill. Was their original goal, and it's evolved into what it's evolved into. So, and the fact they got Charles Hoskinson and Snoop Dogg to chat with each other, that was huge, right? So yeah, I was
curious. You know, obviously they were hoping to be successful when you start something like this, but I mean, to think that like, maybe one day I'll be working with Snoop Dogg, it's got to be crazy.
Yeah, in a short year too, right? Like things move so fast inside of space. Who knows where you're going to be at?
A year,
yeah. So big shout out to these guys. I know the next thing, obviously, you're going to get revealed wherever you are inside the map. Obviously, you can see the sections off. And then from there, they are also going to be doing a clay token allocation in May coming up here soon. And I believe the way they have it set up is it doesn't matter whether you own a large, medium, or small. It should be the same allocation to each land plot holder. And the reason they did that was because, people got a random rarity of land. So they didn't want to make it unfair just because they got lucky on a large. They should get more stuff for that way too. So
I love that.
It's going to be a nice fair balance. Yeah. So I can imagine that clay token is going to be, pretty prominent for whatever it is they're doing. Because I know they've already talked about doing different accessories and things to decorate your clay inside the space.
Pants for Tom. Yep.
You want pants? Yeah. Have a pants off, dance off, dude. Shout out to Clays. I'm a big fan of what they got going on, and I'm sure most people inside the space are too. We're kind of moving to the last back half of this. We'll kind of get some rapid fire stuff of what's going on inside the CNFT space. What's minting this week? We have BrightLeaf.
This will already have minted by the time you're listening to this.
Oh yeah, you're right. I forget with these Wednesdays they go into Thursday.
So this is a weird one because it's already going to be out. So you could be listening to this right now, and the floor is 8,000, and that means we did a great job. Or the floor is 10, and that means it was TJ's fault.
Exactly. It's because I minted it.
Right. BrightLeaf, we talked about these guys a few weeks ago on the channel before the mint date got announced and stuff like that, but they minted on April 28th. So if you're listening to this on the Friday, it minted the day before. And like you said, if it's doing great. You're welcome. If not, good luck.
DM
whatever.
TJ, you can hit me up. I'll give you his address. You can send him an email.
Yeah. But these guys,
these caught your eye, TJ. Really?
Oh yeah. I was in there early.
I mean, it seems like we're kind of in the wave of 3D profile pictures right now. Not to say there wasn't 3D projects, back even in 2021, but right now it kind of seems like that's what's hot. Everyone's coming out with their 3D versions or just 3D projects. We're getting a lot of that, but these do they look good.
Yeah, they're older. You notice a lot of the attributes too, like we just talked about overexposed a little bit ago. You look at these now, it's that 3D artwork. I think if anything, it's in forcing the space to have to be evolve and set a higher standard for itself in certain aspects. So whether 3D is more advanced than 2D, that's subjective, in that case, and isn't necessarily the case that this is better because it's in 3D. It's just something that catches your eye though, for sure. And one thing that you notice about these things, if you look, they have the roots and the dirt and stuff like that. This is a green type project where they are, they're heavily involved as far as donations and charity and just creating a greener planet is what this project is built around. I believe, if I remember reading right inside of the Discord for them, and I'm not super well versed into the project at all, but they get one tree planted in the Amazon rainforest per NFT minted over there. So 5,555 of these things. So if they sell out, they got 5,555 new trees into the ecosystem.
That's wild.
So you're seeing that stuff, and we're big fans of Cardano trees and stuff too. So it's cool when you see real world use cases for NFTs, and this is essentially almost like crowdfunding some of this stuff too, in a sense, for certain things. Jack, I don't know if you got a chance to even see these things at all or haven't seen them, but initial impressions if you haven't.
I just seen them for the first time now, but I think you're right. 3D projects right now, everyone's interested in them, I think, because they do catch your eye, and they look good. They look good. I mean, they look detailed. It's really detailed.
I think you can do a little more fun. I mean, even there's a good example, Voodoo Brigada, that came out, October, September. That was a 3D project back in the day, but just all these, you can, with the 3D, when you can really kind of get a better feel for like the texture and like the lighting and stuff, you know, is it matte, is it shiny?
Yeah.
They can do a lot of fun stuff as far as that goes. You can get into a lot more of the detail than just like a base 2D image, you know, obviously beyond just seeing another side to it, you know, a third dimension to the siding, but like actually the texture and feel of it and look of it, they can do a lot with it.
Yeah. Well, this to me too, outside of like, I mean, obviously anything that helps the environment and does, you know, if they're really, that's really what their goal is over here. I mean, that's awesome. You know, that it's cool to see that that's being done. To have awesome artwork to kind of back it up is even better. I really do appreciate like the little details, like I said, the rooting and the dirt and stuff like that. It looks really well done. For me, this reminds me like video game wise, a big video game fan. Like maybe like a Titanfall, something maybe like Overwatch, somewhere in that like realm of video games. I don't know if you guys
looks like a
have
Bastion. Definitely looks like a Bastion for sure for any Overwatch fans. That's exactly what it looks like. It looks like a little bit some of the robots in Wall-E.
Yeah, I could see that too. It definitely looks good. I don't know what the reference to the robot versus like the dirt being like in there. And I'm not very well versed in what it is. And then this could pull, you know, a complete 180 and be something even crazier than I think. But it's definitely like, it looks very well done, and it's eye catching to me. And it, like I said, it's pushing that space into that new standard, I'd say.
You'll get the rare one. Don't worry.
I hope so, man. We'll see what happens over there. But TJ, I think there's 5,555 of these things.
Yes.
And then what are they? 9 a.m. Eastern on
9 a.m. Eastern.
So they've already minted. Yeah, 130.
12 hours before this show comes out. So 24 hours.
You can do 3 at a time though too. So the 2 tokens would be 115 each. If you do 3, it's like 100 each. So the tiers up or down.
So the more you buy, the less, the cheaper it gets.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So if you want to buy just 130, 2, 115, 300, and then it goes from there.
So everyone would already have known that though, because this video come after it.
Well, yeah, no, I'm just curious though too, for like anybody pricing purposes, right? Like we've talked about this though on the show too, is when you set a high mint price like that, you have an expectation to kind of live up to as well, because a lot of the times in this space, whether people like it or not, they're there to flip and make money. So if you set a high bar for a floor after mint price, you know, and you don't maintain that, that FUD starts to kick in and people start to panic and they dump the project, and they can sometimes hurt it, and then it takes a little while for it to recover if it really is a good project, or sometimes it can tank projects completely. So that's an interesting take. That's a pretty high mint price for a single token, 130. I haven't seen one that high in a while.
I'll never understand that. I always say this, and I've said this in earlier episodes. I'll never understand listing under mint price. I don't get that. Like, why would you do that? I mean, I guess maybe if you need a little bit of ADA fast, but like significantly listing lower than the actual mint price. I mean, I don't get that.
I don't think they do. I don't think they take it in terms of mint price. Usually it's just panic. It's fighting the floor. Yeah. They just start, they start panicking. One person, has it posted at a rate, and next guy comes in, beats him. The next guy comes in and beats him. And they're all just fighting over getting the lowest one until all of a sudden it's below mint price from those idiots fighting. And then everyone else panics and goes, oh shit, it's below mint. I need to get rid of this now before it's worth 0. And then everyone's just selling for 10 ADA. And it's like, you guys are fools.
Or you play the big brain play like the whales, is you buy a couple of these things, you dump them down to a very low price. Everybody freaks you out, and then they come back, scoop them all up, and then the project goes and corrects. It's a mind game, dude. It's crypto, right? Like, it's the Wild West out here, and anything can kind of happen. But yeah, I think these are something that I'll definitely be trying to get at least one of. I just like the way it looks. I'm a fan of that, and to kind of, if it supports the earth and they actually, that's what they're doing, then great. Happy to be a part of that and see what happens. So if you minted that, like I said, and you're listening and it did well, you're welcome. If you didn't, it's TJ's fault. Speaking of another 3D artwork too, like you said, we're pushing into this side of the space, is Chains of War. This is minting, and you can actually listen to the podcast and this can take some useful information from this. April 29th, Friday, the day we're dropping this at 1400 UTC, which is 2 o'clock UTC. If I did my military time right.
Yeah, it's 2 p.m. UTC.
Yeah. Dude, this project right here is another one that has a lot going on to it. The white paper is like 48 pages. They've already dropped it prior to the mint actually happening. So they've kind of already given you a little bit of an expectation. There's a lot of stuff inside of it, and it reminds me literally of like World of Warcraft or something.
100%. I love it.
Yeah. Jack, have you got a chance to check this out at all?
I did read the white paper briefly, but I'm not into the whole like feel like the theme of it, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just me. Like, I think compared to other projects, like they have put out, 48-page white paper before the mint, which to me is a pretty good sign, right? Like that's a pretty good sign that they're going
For
to
real?
be developing something a little bit more long term. At least I think so. So I like that for sure.
Yeah, and it's at least like you said, nobody would have went through all that trouble with all this designs to probably, at least you would think to not just kind of dump on everybody once everything's kind of promised you something, nice and pretty, and then it just disappears. I enjoy it. I haven't really dove too much into this one either. I know Blake CNFT, we're big fans of as well. He did a very deep dive and got a chance to talk to one of the creators over there too. And he actually read all 48 pages of the white paper on stream one night.
He read it on stream. I didn't know he did that.
Yeah, he did like a long video on that. So shout out to him,
man. In front of a fireplace.
Yeah, right. Just like an old like story time.
Welcome to Fireplace Chats with Blake CNFT.
Yeah, he's got the dude with the guitar, right? Playing next
now,
to
see, these ones, I like the plans they have or what they're selling as far as what the project's going to be. This is a 3D one that I wasn't like super necessarily crazy about the art personally.
Really?
Just really wasn't my style. I don't know.
To me, it's like, I mean, I'm thrown right now a little bit because I get like the World of Warcraft 5 there, and then all of a sudden I'm back in like Iron Man, like over there. So it's definitely got some different like factions.
Go down there with the mohawk. That one looks sick.
This one?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. I mean, it's a different take for everybody, right? Like everybody's got a little feel to it.
Yeah.
And you can't argue that, like everybody, like it's everything subjective. People might think that, some of the stuff where we talk about it like sucks or, like but this is like the dopest thing to them in the world. So, I mean, whatever it is that like works for you, it's just a matter of like, is this something you're going to participate in? Is this something that people are going to buy into? And then, can they even build up to what they're like projecting? Like this is very high quality, whatever, the stuff that they're putting out there. It's not just like it doesn't look like they just threw it together, and it's got these different classes and like,
well, they showed you the name of the different classes. So you scroll past it a little bit up more, go up right there, down.
Hidaki.
Right there. Humans. Yep. Hidaki. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I was looking through the white paper when I was going through this, and they kind of detail like some of the NFT portion of this, as far as the NFTs go. And they have two different types of NFT collections that are collectibles and heroes in here. So the chains of work like collectibles, these are more like a limited NFT collection for them that has more like visualized information, 2D artwork. And it's more about like the actual, environment and lore and stuff like that. But these have utility as far as voting rights and staking rewards. But then you also have the Genesis holders, like Jack, earlier we were getting a chance to talk as far as like DeadFixes, where you have like the Genesis 10,000 of these. They're the 3D based ones that we just saw earlier, both male and female, with 4 known species, and they have different multiple clans and tribes. So outside of that, you're going to be able to hold the Genesis heroes. And then eventually you're going to be able to bring those heroes in game, and you get an exclusive airdrop of your Genesis token to be able to use in game. And if you don't happen to get one of the Genesis, you're able to buy in, I believe, without one, right? Just to play the game itself. I don't know if anybody knows more on that, but that's kind of what I got out of this reading, some of this white paper.
Mm-hmm.
So, these are, dude, I'm gonna have to go back and watch Blake's video outside of this because there's so much going on. But dynamic NFTs, this is where I get interested because it's the gamification of just anything over here as NFTs make their way into that, where you can actually, it's not just like, hey, I got an NFT, I'm gonna be able to drop it inside this little like 3D world. Like, what do you like now? I can actually mint an NFT, that a weapon or whatever it is, and I can apply that and actually use that in game. And I can, upgrade my character at some point to a point where if I want to sell my account or whatever it may be, I can now use that as my NFT to push out, and it becomes valuable because I've put the hours in, or I've collected the certain resources, or, I did something rare. Like that's where I can kind of start to see some of this stuff. And you're starting to see,
well, it rewards the holders and the players of the game, which is awesome.
it's decentralizing video games, right? Like, and putting it into this thing, like that's where I find it interesting. Cause Jack, I don't know if you game at all or are a gamer at all.
Yeah, I do a lot. I do a lot.
Do you? What's some of your favorite stuff?
I mean, I play a lot of, like, I haven't played that many games lately, but like I'll play anything. I mean, growing up, mostly I played like Call of Duty and like Minecraft pretty much. Like,
yeah.
But now I play like pretty much any game. Like if just like, I try out a bunch of different things, like, I don't know, Risk of Rain, stuff like that, and like Dead by Day, like all those. I like roguelikes are really fun, but I hope there's a Cardano roguelike. 'Cause I know there was like Cardano Warriors and stuff, but I hope there's more things like that. So those would be fun, I think.
Yeah, well, isn't it cool though too, the fact, like, I know we talked about cornucopias in the past too, but these games that like here where you're able to mint something, it you know, turns your weapon or whatever it may be, your vehicle, and you can actually use it. And like
you can own it, and you actually own it, like it's your NFT. So like, even if they're like game shuts down, you can still trade the assets, right? It's not like Steam Marketplace. I don't know if you've tried selling and buying on there, like CS:GO skins. Like they just kind of like, you had skins and they kind of just like they could just disable like or take your stuff away, and like there's no way that could happen on, like, if it's on the blockchain, it's on NFT.
They could ban your account. They could do all kinds of things and shut you down. So if you're like a streamer or somebody popular inside the space, and you made your living off that, and then one day you did something that they didn't like, they could shut you down, no problem. And here, I mean, you own everything. And that's where I get excited about this kind of stuff. And these guys, again, I don't know long term if that's, if they're able to execute that, then that's amazing. It's cool to see, they've got a very good visual representation of the project so far, at least through this white paper, and it's very detailed. So I appreciate that. This is one where I need to dive deeper into, and like just even like a Mocossi or something, like we were talking earlier. Like, you can't be inside of everything, and we will miss some of this stuff. But this is one that's definitely caught people's attention, and it's detailed out enough where if they're able to execute, they got some sort of a first mover advantage at a higher level, I'd say, outside of that. And it just opens up a cool avenue, like marketplaces and upgrading your NFTs, and it's fun, man. So
I will agree with like what you said, Jack. Like seeing a 48-page white paper.
Yeah.
If they wanted to cut and run with everyone's ADA, there's a lot of easier ways to rug than writing 48 pages.
They didn't need a white paper.
You don't even need to come out with a white paper. You just preview your shitty NFT and do a bunch of terrible marketing all over Twitter with bots and giveaways, and then you do a little rug pull thing. Not that they're doing that. I'm saying, like, for those projects, it's usually pretty clear when someone's doing that, and it's very low effort cash grab type thing. And I mean, this would be the most effort I'd ever seen into something like that. So definitely kind of helps, ease your suspicions or anything like that. The suspicions we all kind of carry with any new project we're looking into, seeing a 48-page white paper is nice.
Yeah. And I'm playing kind of catch up as I'm like reading and listening to some of this stuff. But even just what this is saying right here is like where you're able to kill a high level and like enemy, loot, and then bring this epic valuable sword that you just earned in game, and then put it onto the marketplace. Like, I remember back in the day, like I played World of Warcraft very minimally, but I know TJ was definitely like into it, where you would just have that whole secondary in-game market there for you guys to buy. And sometimes people would just trade accounts or sell stuff on like eBay and all these other things to be able to buy this. Can you imagine now, like, dude, I just earned one of the sickest swords. I got one of the best drops, and now I can actually go sell it or use it in game to actually play.
I wonder if this right here is an in-game screenshot, because that looks really good. The map, the mini map, the health bar up there, the visual, I'm assuming that's an orc or something, but that looks really good.
Yeah. Well, I said I've done enough research into it, and I don't want to, like, these guys get on here, oh, you guys are just talking about this. Like, no, I'm kind of just looking at it, because it's definitely caught my eye. It's something that I definitely will look into if it's, if it turns out to be what it's starting to portray itself. But it's just an interesting concept, right? Like, we're getting to the point where we were trading profile pictures, a year ago, just because the technology was available finally on the blockchain. So now here we are, where they're building video games that are actually able to utilize the function of an NFT, and that whole world, NFTs are evolving just in general, whether it's on our blockchain or not. So
that's exciting for sure.
Yeah. So shout out to these guys over here. If the 29th, I'll definitely make sure that I'm trying to pick one of these things up, because outside of whether I like the artwork or not, but if I can actually play it in game and upgrade myself,
that's what I want to play in game.
I'm cool. Like, I'm definitely down about that. They're more of a digital world is what they're trying to build, I guess. So they're not claiming to be a metaverse over here. So, but they're contributing to it. So we'll see what happens with them. Shout out to these guys as well. One of the last like topics we wanted to kind of kick into, and I mean, dude, we could go down a rabbit hole with this one as well. No pun intended. Is Dead Rabbit Resurrection Society. These guys, I 100% did on these guys. And Jack, I don't know if you got a chance to pick one of these up or have seen these guys inside the space. Have you got a chance to look at any of this stuff?
I did mint some. I was on the whitelist, and then I haven't looked at the hunt too much, but I've seen some people going pretty deep,
right?
Like spending a lot of hours on trying to decipher it.
Well, we were like last week when we were doing the podcast, it was like towards the back of the back end, as we call it over here. And we were like kind of breezing through mints that were happening. And this was one of the ones that fell in like that gray area, I believe, right? Like where we were talking about it on a Wednesday, but it was minting on a Thursday. So it happened and I didn't mint it, but I started to see some people post in our Discord, and I saw Twitter started to kind of rumble about it a little bit, and started looking at the artwork. And I was like, you know what, like this actually, those traits, it looks pretty well done.
I really like the art.
They started to do really, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna like why, they were doing decent. They shot around up to like 185 floor the night that I was looking at them after we finished up. And me and TJ kind of left me, and then he could kind of see me just being like, he's like, dude, I'm gonna let you go, but you're gonna buy.
Left you. It was like 12:45. I was like, dude, I'm going to bed. I know you're gonna stay on longer. I have to go to bed.
Yeah. And then Jack, like you said, like I was not on the whitelist. This is one that I wasn't like. I wouldn't say it's not on my radar, but it was just something that I hadn't planned on minting, just because there was just so much going on at that time. But one thing that like started to happen is like, I got onto the website and I was like, well, these have already minted. I missed out on here because they sold out in 22 seconds. Like it was quick. Yeah. Like it was super fast. And so like, obviously there was demand for it.
Damn.
Like very, very fast. And then from there, the website, like you started to play around with it and look around and you're like, there's all these little like secret links and these little things, like there was riddles built in. There's a bunch of lore. And they started talking about these alien rabbit gods and all this stuff. And I was like, what is going on with this project? Like, why is there so much hype behind it? And then they got me with the treasure hunt. And that's where I started to like dive deep, because if you like looked at any of the rabbits over here, some of them had these little tags on their ears. And they kind of looked, I don't know if I can pull one that has this little page or this app. So they had like these little QR codes that were built into them. And if you went ahead and scanned some of these QR codes, this is where I started to get into like CNFT tools. And I'm sitting there like looking at these rabbits and I'm like, well, some of these things have like these little orange things on. I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and what does that mean? Like you had to do a nice zoom in. I took a QR reader. This is at like now 2 a.m. And it took me to a website that looked like this. And it was just like hunt for the rabbit Ronin. And it gave me clue 1. And I just was like, I don't know. What does that mean, man? Like, what am I doing? So next thing I did, I was like, well, Morse code, maybe like is the only other thing like that could make sense. So I literally like got on a website, converted this into Morse code. And this was like my actual input. And it was like in a city near Boston, agreeing. So again, this is what I got. Somebody else had it, but a green gift from China. The name of the father is first. Was like the riddle that came with this. And I was like, oh man, I'm so onto this. I'm going to get through all these. I'm going to do all 10 or 9 or 10 of these things. I go into the Discord and everybody already had like, they were way past that like a day ago. Like they had like lapped me on everything. But they were searching for certain links and certain websites. And as people started to see, there were 6 of these alien rabbit gods that people were able to go ahead and find through those riddles and those clues. And I think all 6 of these have minted, right?
Oh, so that's the Ronin, the special one that you got.
No, this one right here is Salnar. So there's like the Tesseract is like the last name. Tesseract is the last name for this. And these are different alien rabbit like alien gods, as they call them. And each one of these has, they're all the one of ones. They all look very cool looking. This is one of my favorite ones right here. This one's just I would have
loved to have seen like a Roger Rabbit derivative like up there. That would have been really cool.
Dude, it was crazy to see this, and they even
have Jessica Rabbit one.
That'd be good too.
I like it because they got the shout out to Mastodon buttons too, a throwback to back in the day. I love that. Yeah. But yeah, if you look, they had like this lore entries to each different one of those alien rabbit guys. But this whole thing led to like a search for those those rabbits that eventually people minted, and I believe they got like 5,000 ADA to like attached to it. So they earned 5,000 ADA plus got one of these rabbit gods. over there for finding it. So it was way more in depth than just being like some cool artwork. And then on top of that, I know they have events planned, like the Dead Rabbit. I forget the name of the event. It's like a Dead Rabbit, like fuck, what's the name of that thing? I'm over here. It's like a hunt that they have coming up for this, like some like event.
Hunt for the rabbit Ronin?
Well, they have like, yeah, the hunt for the rabbit Ronin. People are still, even in the Discord right now, there's a whole channel dedicated for the hunt for the rabbit Ronin. And they're over here, Ronin. And and they're still looking for it. They haven't figured it out yet. And it says when all 10 clues are solved together, they comprise a treasure hunt, and the winner of that hunt will discover a secret that allows them to claim a treasure and one ultra rare alien rabbit god, and then 5,000 ADA, and the clues goes live as soon as this is what pretty much got everybody to like go. And we were thinking about like old money status where like the vault hunt was happening and people were like looking at every little detail. I played a lot of Destiny, like as I was growing up over there throughout the years, and they had this raids that had all these like ARG and different websites, and it led people to all these different things. So it reminded me of that, and that kind of drew you. And then they didn't originally release like even the rarities at the time. They like CNFT tools hadn't really been updated, and JPEG or CNFT Jungle was just getting going. But even if you read like their little website to it, you know, they didn't tell you what it was, but it was like, if you pull a rabbit that's gold, calico, or iridescent, that's rare. So they even gave you like little riddles on the website to kind of pull some stuff before all that stuff even happened. So that's how I started to get introduced to it. And then Jack, I don't know, do you know, or did you dive anywhere deep into this, or did you kind of mint and you're like,
I just minted and they look cool. Like, so I was like, all right. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So
I didn't even know it went this deep. Like I really didn't.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, for me, I'm like, holy, like you can see, like, says not all these have, like some of them have like certain clues, like 1 through 10 for those alien god ones, but others have like that event that's going to be coming up for them. So there's a community stuff that's built into these as well. But you did see the floor for these really start to take off the last week. I think they approached almost a 500 ADA floor at one point. And I think they've corrected a little bit now. TJ, I don't know if you have a floor check while we're doing this.
Yes,
but
sir.
I'm curious how like the Ronin's going to fit in, because that's like a masterless
365 right now.
Samurai.
Yeah,
365.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they've corrected.
Yeah, but I saw a couple, and they have like the headband. It has like the Japanese rising sun on it, and so they definitely have like a Japanese theme. Yeah, the samurai swords, and the Ronin were like samurai who's master died, or I guess kicked him out or whatever, and just wandered around. So I wonder how that's going to play into their lore with the rabbits.
Yeah,
and they're also aliens too. They got that going for them.
Well, this, I know I saw something about TAL.Lock, or maybe I'm pronouncing that wrong. There's like different, I literally was at one point at night where I was highlighting this text right here, and a lot of the different like fonts. I was like trying to decode this font to figure out there was like a secret like word behind it. Like that's how deep I was going with it, because I was so enamored with like what it was, So these guys, and people still haven't figured it out yet fully. So obviously that's pretty cool that they're doing that right now. Like every little detail, like apparently matters, for this stuff. So
makes it fun, makes it be part of the community and have fun together and try to figure this out.
Oh, this just takes NFTs, like I said, to it. Like we're beyond the patch of just, you can just drop it. It looks cool and people are a part of that community. This is like now going one step further with this stuff and really building like a brand, building something behind this stuff. So Jack, I guess
community engagement, interaction too, kind of getting them really involved beyond just like, that's cool, I like that.
Now, Jack, it sounds like you got some digging into some research to do.
I have to catch up,
dude.
I mean, now I'm caught up a bit, but
yeah. Well, these guys, I got to go read the lore. Somebody said it takes about 20 minutes to go read through these different entries to kind of figure out where it is. But everybody says if you're in the project, definitely go ahead and take a chance on this stuff. So if they've already kind of shot that high, I can imagine as more information comes out, it's going to get it could potentially be something bigger down the line. So
you didn't just read it, Tommy? You just scrolled through it.
No, I'm a speed reader, dude. I just go right through it all.
Like Sounder from what's that the book series, Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. She reads like that. She's got like perfect photographic memory, just like looks at the paper and is done.
Oh, that's not me though. But anyway, shout out to Dead Rabbits. I know people have been asking. We completely brushed over that one the last week. We're like, oh, this look cool, and then they did that. one of the last towards things that we wanted to talk, just quick mention, not really talk, but just where you can also, things do well inside of space, and then things can sometimes struggle a little bit too. Tom, this was a kind of a shock surprise announcement to us because we were big.
Just sad.
Yeah, we were big
so much.
big fans of what they were trying to build.
Mm-hmm.
I minted one as well. And it was just like the 3D Game Boy. They had like the batteries, the little games. And they had some, I think Yummi Universe was one of the ones they did. Happy Hoppers.
Yep.
I was Soho Kids, maybe
Sushi Bites or Ada
Sushi
Ninjas.
Bites.
Which one was it?
Yeah, and they had some high secondary sales too, which was really cool. And then all of a sudden, there was an update on the page over here to basically where the guy was just like, this was not going my way. Yeah, it wasn't going my way. And I'm going to go ahead and refund everybody who purchased. I just can't keep up with it. And one thing I referenced in there while I was reading that wasn't necessarily about the sales, but it was like the mental burnout that was like taking over his life too, from being in this world of like NFTs, and just, he's having trouble with stuff. And I couldn't imagine, like, I to some degree have, even just doing what we're doing, have felt that too, of just like, dude, this is a lot today. I don't know if I can sit down and like grind this out after work today. Like I'm busy. So I can only imagine the pressure. And Jack, I don't know if you can speak on that at all, especially creating your own project and demands that come with doing that.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, after like the day JackFriks minted, I was like for 14 hours on my computer, like replying people in Discord and like trying to sort things out. And then like even after that for like a few weeks, like I was like, I didn't recover from that for like probably a month and a half, like didn't get back to like full energy, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But it is a lot. I mean, obviously like you're making ADA, you're having fun, but it is still like at the time, it's like, it's a lot of
work though.
Stress,
like
it's a lot of stress mentally. Yeah, for sure.
Well, it's like, you got to be present, right? It's not like you can just release what you want to release and then just sit back and like watch it go. Like you have to be actively engaged with your community to keep it going, because otherwise it does. Unfortunately, people want that instant gratification and that instant like satisfaction. And if you're not there all the time and like, giving them confidence, like, yeah, dude, it can go the other way. And I definitely probably get into a dark place, I imagine.
I mean, nothing specific to Gizmoe too. I think it's easy to forget that, the artists and devs are like regular people.
Exactly.
And, again, not necessarily Gizmoe specifically, but even if it's a project that you think is the shittiest thing possible, if the dev and artist, like, it could be their actual best attempt. And, most people want to be proud of what they're doing and the work they're putting in, especially if they are really giving an honest effort. So like you said, you're in Discord the entire time. We see it all the time with mints, where our team has been up for the past 52 hours just making sure things are getting minted out properly, that the metadata all worked okay, that there's not duplicates or anything like that, helping people with the refunds. So I can definitely see how that can burn you out and take its toll over time. I mean, we see it just trying to get in the Discord sometimes every day. I mean, like, not that it's a grind or burn to do that. It's more like I'm doing other things like my normal work that does burn me out. And I realized, man, I haven't been in Discord in 3 hours. Let me see what's going on over there. And that's the kind of stuff like I need sometimes, because it's just everything at once gets so hectic. It's easy to just be drained.
Mm-hmm. And on top of that, like really giving it your all, like I'm fully invested in this, and to just see it not be as successful as you originally hoped.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing. And I know there's two takes to this, right? Like there's the creator portion of this, and then there's the investor side too. So the people, at least I mean, this has happened one other time that was big that I can remember, obviously, was Coco Locos back in the day. Everybody minted those with Dan. Then they kind of like were giving this back to and they refunded everybody their original mint price. And they did the same thing. They refunded 60. It came out to 66.8. I think they minted for 69 maybe. But so basically it roughly came out to 66.8 per device. But what didn't happen though is like you feel for the people who were on the secondary market.
I was gonna say those secondary sales were high, man. I feel bad whoever purchased.
Yeah. So that's at the end of the day, this is why you say it's a risky investment. Like really, you could lose everything. Nothing's guaranteed in this space. So it's always important to remember that. Does it suck? Absolutely. But just know that, everything could go to zero tomorrow if something crazy happened.
You don't say that.
No, I don't think that will happen, but I'm just saying like it could happen, right? Like there's always that possibility. And I remember seeing a good tweet actually from, I think it was DJ and Travis, of like, if all your NFTs went to zero tomorrow, would you be okay? And if the answer is no, then maybe you need to kind of diversify yourself a little bit, or liquidate yourself a little bit.
I mean, to be honest though, that question is like, who really is okay though? Like if you say, yeah, I'm fine, I'm okay. Like I'm to me, that's BS in my opinion. Like if everyone lost all of their NFTs and all they went to zero, like you're going to be upset about it. It's going to be very difficult not to be upset about going to zero.
I mean, I would be, absolutely. I'm just saying though, but if that was like, I lost my net worth or whatever it was because they were all here.
As opposed to like a 10% hit. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you have things in other assets, other blockchains, other, DeFi.
Yeah. Like that's where it gets like scary, like sometimes. So, and it's easy to get lost in this world, especially doing it as much as we do. And Jack, I can imagine being on your side because you not only do YouTube, you do your project and then you have a stake pool too. Like that's a lot of work, man. Like you're full time into this. So I don't know, any like thoughts on that. Like if like, what, I mean, the secondary sales like that I can imagine, but it's also not your responsibility though. At the same time, I guess, people bought in because they wanted to buy in. You didn't expect this. And, it does suck to see that. Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely
it's just sad. I just like the art, it's one that's probably in my opinion, one of the better art projects that you didn't see really make it. I was surprised they honestly didn't sell out. I remember we were talking to the Daily Chronicle of Christine Chronic, and it was just minting and it still hadn't sold out then. But I was like, I think people will be a little bit slow maybe to kind of get on it like they were with Block Owls, because the art is impressive. They had the recognition of some bigger projects too for just how good the art was, and getting those kind of collabs going. It is just disappointing. I'm curious because it seems like a lot of it too was like, the personal toll that just this whole process taking, because I want to know really what the goal was. Like, what did they need to make? Because they were very close. It's not like they had a 10K project and they sold, 20%. Like they sold a majority of the project. So I'm kind of curious what the goal was, and who knows? Maybe
personal stuff could have built them out. Yeah.
And take those. Those NFTs still exist too. So, maybe we'll see some sort of community resurgence. Who knows these days.
Yep. So I just wanted to shout that out because we did talk about it on the show, and I felt like to do a follow up on something like that. Never know why. Again, the guy could be going through some personal stuff, and it could not have been about the financial part of that at all, and could have just been like, I need to get out. I can't do this anymore, and I'm burnt, and at least I'm not going to just disappear. I'll at least refund you guys your money, and I'm out, kind of thing. Because he was a good person. So. Yeah, dude, sorry, sad to see them go, but hopefully I hope to see somebody kind of pick this back up somewhere, because it was a cool concept of what they were doing. The artwork was dope, and it was just a fresh take on something different inside the space. So outside of that, outside of that, man, to kind of bring it back up a little bit, the spirits over there, dude, it's been a fun night over here, Jack. I don't know if we might have set a record over here for our longest podcast. I don't know if this is the case on the show yet. We're coming up probably closer on 3 hours, which is has it been that long?
Has it been that long? I hope not. Have we really kept you that long? I feel so bad now.
It's 11:30 almost over here.
It's quick.
Yeah, and to kind of just say thank you again, Jack, for kind of jumping onto the show tonight, man. I know this is probably. I don't know. Have you done a podcast yet? Yeah, or have you done? I know you've done some interviews and stuff, but
I've only hopped on with Kaizen once, I think, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
hey, honorable.
Yeah, I was just sorry. We do this so long.
No worries.
Yeah, but I wanted to kind of end it with a question over here, and on a positive note is, what makes you excited for the future of the CNFT space and where we're kind of going right now? Like anything in specific, or just the overall sentiment of what you kind of can envision seeing going forward with this?
It does excite me a lot seeing the quality of everything increasing lately. But also just in general, like just being inside of the projects that I've been in for so long, seeing them get more attention and more people are coming in, and also more people are paying attention to those projects. So they're getting more kind of attention that they deserve. But overall, I think sentiment wise, I'm just excited to see where things go, because like I have no idea. Like I have no idea where we're gonna be in 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't even 2 months. Like, I don't even know.
Dude, doesn't it move so fast? Like think about a year ago for you. Like you were just getting started into the Cardano journey, and here you are now with all these different things going on. I can imagine. Did you ever have any idea? Was this ever a goal to do stuff of what you're doing now, or is this just all stuff that kind of evolved over time?
I mean, I didn't know that it would lead, like everything would lead to this when I made my Cardano YouTube channel. At the time, I was thinking like, hey, I'll just make a living off YouTube income, but it definitely turned into a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part about what you're doing right now?
I don't know. Probably
still
just
the YouTube videos. That's what I'm curious about. It's been a year now, so is that kind of like, I'm sure it's up and down. Some weeks you're real excited. Some weeks you get to talk about some passionate news. Is there some weeks where it's just like, oh man, got 4 episodes this week?
Sometimes it's like I gotta make a video today. I don't really want to because like sometimes I don't have that much to say because like after you make 400 videos, like I feel a lot of it's just repeating myself.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is like new news, new things come up, so there's always stuff to talk about. But like not all the time you do want to talk about it on a video, right?
Yeah. No, I can imagine, especially being solo too. I think that's where if we were, I would, TJ originally when we were doing this in the start was like, dude, you should make a channel on this because you know a little bit about this. And I'm like, I just don't have the mental like state to want to do that, to want to take that chance. And that's kind of where it was like, hey, maybe we just go talk about it, and that evolved us into what we are now. So I can only imagine the solo aspect of that, of like getting the motivation to jump on and like I could be excited about something, but dude, I don't want to talk about it. I am excited about it, you know. And then, but yeah, I think the stake pools for what you're doing, man, inside the space is amazing. I love to see the evolution of what you've done so far. And then where you're kind of going, man. I'm serious, excited to see the next few months here. And on top of that, dude, maybe we'll see you over at CNFT Con, right?
Hopefully see you in October.
I hope so, yeah.
So yeah, if anything, if anybody's looking to figure out more about where they can find out what you got going on or best place to reach you, I know you're in the basement, but where else can they find you?
I'm just on Twitter and on YouTube, both at JackFriks, JackFriks, and that's it.
Nice. And that maybe I hit him with a good morning, something like that. And
yeah, good morning.
Yeah, I know you had to write that. We were always curious. Did you get the good morning handle from Ada, or is that somebody else?
No, I didn't. I got basement though.
That's good.
Nice.
Right. There you go. I always wondered on that. So, all right. Well, yeah, we'll definitely make sure to link everything in the description for you. Make sure to go check out Jack. His channel has amazing Cardano content on top of the NFT games too. He's a vet in the space. And dude, yeah, we appreciate you jumping onto the show tonight. It's been a lot of fun.
Thanks, man. I'm glad to be here, and would be welcome to coming back for sure.
Absolutely. We would love to host you on again. We'll definitely do a follow-up episode for sure, one of these ones. So, all right, guys. Well, it's been Freedom After Dark on, not necessarily, but probably one of the longest podcasts we've had. And Jack, if we're taking a little bit more of your time, we apologize, but it's just it's what happens. You know, we talk this all day. We could probably do another 4 hours if we just took a break here.
Like you said, even looking at the list, there's plenty of topics we could put on there still. We left, just don't get enough in there.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, it's been fun. Appreciate everybody listening. This has been another Freedom 35ers. We'll catch you next week.